attracts so many athletes back is because of the reception they get here. There's something special about this Morton meet. It links back to the special meets that Billy Morton indeed had. It ends with the Morton Mile, but your participation, your friendship, your conviviality and support is one of the big reasons that many of the athletes return, and the endorsements and positive words of many of them are on the back page of your programme. So thank you for your contribution, and don't underestimate or undervalue it in any way. It makes a huge contribution to the success of this meet.
Back to the vault here. 550 and 2 metres up at the high jump at the far end. So Adam Hay, 550, third attempt. Let's get the clap going and we'll keep this ticking over. Okay, run through. That's our European Junior Champion. We'll see Morton again. That's Adam Hay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on behalf of the host club, Clonmel Harriers, Ireland's oldest athletic club, Aid Níl Fáilte, and welcome to this great athletic stadium. I welcome athletes from many parts of the world, unified this evening in their love of athletics, their pursuit of excellence, and their commitment to perform. It takes courage to perform. We wish all the athletes a successful evening, one where friendship made will live side by side with details of finishing positions and times. To quote one of Clonmel and Ireland's greatest ever coaches, Lara Byrne, it is great to be alive on such an evening. Finally, I welcome you, the spectators, officials, dignitaries, guests and sponsors. Now I invite those who are able to please stand for our own Nadine. As they say in all the best stadiums, let the games begin. The band took a while to arrive there, but...
Hello and welcome to the 2015 Morton Games here at Santry in North Dublin. It promises to be an outstanding night of international athletics. A man called Johan Blake is going to be racing. Shh, say it quietly. Don't let the crowd hear it just yet. But there's also going to be some outstanding Irish talent on offer. And a man who knows a little thing or two about Irish talent is the Irish record holder in the 400 metres, David Gillick. David, thanks very much for joining us.
No problem at all.
This is going to be an outstanding night of talent, but first of all we have to start with the fact that Thomas Barr is no longer running in the 400-metre hurdles.
Yeah, unfortunately Tom has had to withdraw, apparently a bit of a sore hip. To be fair to Tom, he's raced quite a lot recently, obviously winning the World Students over in Korea, which was a great achievement for him, but with the World Championships on the horizon in Beijing, it could be a wise decision maybe sitting this one out.
I mentioned there Johan Blake, the second fastest man in the world, or tied for second fastest, give or take. The crowd have got really something to look forward to there, haven't they?
Absolutely, and it's great that he's here to race in Dublin tonight. And you know, I think I'd love to see him break the 10:20 that he's ran already this year, and also the track record here in Santry. But also we've got Linford Christie's all-comers record in Ireland, which stands at 10:17. So it's great that we can get this talent here, and hopefully Johan is in decent shape that he can maybe dip into possibly sub 10 tonight.
An Irish point of view in the 400 metres, your pet event. Brian Gregan races in that. We've got some outstanding talent all the way across the board from an Irish perspective. Yeah,
it's quite competitive in the 400 because there's relay slots available ahead of the World Championships in Beijing. Brian Gregan came into a bit of shape there last week, running just dipping inside of 46 seconds, so he'll be looking to improve on that. You've also got Dara Kervick, who had a great indoor season, and he's had a few injury problems in the early part of this season, so he'll be looking to race into a bit of shape. But we've got some good talent coming over from Britain, a few Americans in there running around about low 45, so it looks competitive. It's great for the Irish boys to be in with that sort of talent around them.
From a qualifying perspective, Kelly Proper is just one of a few who's looking for that world qualification time in the 200 tonight.
Yeah, we do. We have a few chasing qualifications. Like you said, Kelly has ran really well this summer, but she's literally 0.04 off the qualifying standard, and with time running out, she will be really chasing times tonight.
Do you think the Irish qualifying standards compared to say that the British ones are very difficult?
They are tough. Standards are hard, but they're internationally set, so you know, they're set by the IAAF, and that's literally the way it is. And I think that the cut-off date is also a bit of an issue as well. It's quite it's difficult because you have to peak with the championships then as well, and sometimes you're chasing times, but that's just the way it is. And I think the strength in depth in relation to, say, the British standards and stuff like that is it's probably harder over there than it would be here, but at the end of the day, you've just got to get out and run your times and really make sure that you get your bum on that plane.
Will Lear, the man who won the Morton Mile last year, breaking a 34-year record from Steve Scott. He's not racing tonight, he's injured, but we've still got plenty of talent to look forward to in that.
It is great talent, and the Morton Mile is it's just a part of Irish athletics history, and it's great that it's a proud tradition, it's kept going, and you know, we've now built a meet around that one race, and it's not often the mile is ran, and I think Will Lear, what he done last year was phenomenal. Unfortunately, like you said, he's injured, but there's plenty of other talent there, and it'd be great to see some of the Irish boys really get up there as well.
Well, you get yourself up to the commentary box because you're going to be up there. He's up there with two men who know a thing or two about athletics as well, in Dick Hooper and first, Will Downing.
So a very good evening from Santry in the 2015 Morton Games. A stellar field put together for this top meeting of the year in Dublin. Some big names sign up from abroad. Johan Blake, we'll see a little bit later, the men's 100 metres, the world champion from 2011. Di Green, who also won the world title of the 400 hurdles in Daegu 4 years ago, was due to be in this, but he switched to London for the Diamond League meeting there. So this is what's coming up tonight. We've got the men's 400 hurdles coming up, which no longer features Thomas Barr. He's out injured. He is here, and we are due to talk to him in the next few minutes. Then we've got the men's 100 metres coming up in around half an hour's time, and also the likes of the men's 3,000 metres. The women's 200 has got a very good, strong field as well. Kelly Proper will be endeavouring to qualify for the World Championships in Beijing next month. A couple of good 400 metres races as well, featuring the likes of Brian Gregan and Manteo Mitchell from the United States. The women's 800 metres coming up at 8:30 Irish time. Laura Crow, Emily Dudgeon, Selma Kajan all in that. And we round off with the mile races from around 8:45. The Morton Mile is at 9. Will Lear is out injured. He won't be competing in that, but he has won it 3 times. He is here, and let's hear him speaking now to Tulson. It's Will Lear.
Will Lear back at the scene of last year's triumph, a 34-year record gone, but you're not running tonight. Tell us why.
You know, the unfortunate thing about track and field is that injuries are a real thing, and athletes, we have to be able to manage and deal responsibly and intelligently when they pop up. Got an injury in late April, early May that forced 4 weeks off of training, and tried to come back for the U.S. Championships and qualify for that team to Beijing, and in the process just really pushed the envelope a little bit too hard, and came back to bite me. And about a week ago, ended up pulling the plug on the last few races here of the early European season, and just really trying to get healthy again.
How disappointing is it for you not being able to run, considering what happened last year?
I love this meet. It's very disappointing. I always want to come back and return and show our appreciation for really knowledgeable track fans, and they definitely exist here in Santry and in Morton Games. That being said, I'm very much looking forward to being a spectator. Most times when we come to this meet, we sit under the stands and you're mentally focusing and hydrating and not expending too much energy. Now I just get to watch friends and competitors alike put down some really impressive performances.
You talked about friends and competitors there. Who do you see winning this race?
Goodness, it's a very tough field. I don't want to put any pressure on anyone if they should hear this before they step to the line. But I know that Jordan McNamara and Pat Casey are rounding into form. Pat, ran 3:52 here last year, and Jordan's won before. And those guys, they're my American compatriots, and so they've experienced the magic that can happen on this track. As we were just walking across, I hadn't stepped on it yet, and you get reminded this is a very, very fast surface here. The weather's right. It must be a night of Morton Games, because the weather gods are shining down upon us.
And in a World Championship year, I suspect for people who are running at the World Championships and those who aren't, that anyone comes here on a meet like this, it gives it that extra bit of incentive.
Absolutely, but like any race, track and field athletes are competitors at the core, and so whether it's a World Championship meet or the Morton Games or a small Flanders Cup meet in Belgium, when we go out and step on the line, it's to compete and give our best. So I expect that from everyone tonight, and everyone also comes out with individual goals. So some people are looking for a time, some people are looking to finish. Everyone should be finishing with a smile on their face.
Just finally, give us an idea of how difficult it is when you're running this race and running that mile, especially in the time you did last year. What does it take out of you?
I was floored for a few days after that last year, emotionally and physically. You reach to the depths of your being to really produce these sort of unbelievable times and get the best out of yourself. And so it has to be the perfect night for the athlete, and last year was just that for me, but it definitely left me shattered for a few days.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Always a great entertainer, Will Lear, in our first race of the night here at the 2015 Morton Games, the men's 400 metres hurdles. So the men's 400 hurdles to get us underway. A big DNF in Thomas Barr. More about that in a moment. Michel Broch has come over from the Czech Republic. He's chasing a qualifying time for the World Championships in Beijing next month. Paul Byrne of Ireland with a good opportunity in lane 4. And Quincy Downing also of the United States, who ran in the Cork City Sports earlier this month. But there's no Thomas Barr. He's out injured, but he is up here with us. What's the story, and what's keep you out of this tonight?
In the last couple of days, I picked up a bit of a niggle since I got back from South Korea. As much as I'd love to be out on the track today, I'm just not able to. And I've a London Diamond League tomorrow. I'm going to go out, warm up, see how it is. But I'm not sure exactly will I be able to race. And I was really looking forward to Morton Games because it's the home crowd. There's so much history here last year.
Okay, stay with us for the moment. It's Houghton in 2, Broch in 3, Byrne in 4, Roger 5, Downing 6, Cochrane 7, and Yates is in lane 8 to get us underway. The men's 400 metres hurdles at the 2015 Morton Games. So we're away at the first time of asking, and Roger getting off very well in lane 5. Byrne was originally drawn in 4, and there was a nocturnal from Roger in 5. Downing going very well in 6, and Cochrane in New Zealand in lane 7 as well. Absolutely flying at the moment over on the far side, just looking to overtake Yates on the stagger, so it's a great start for him. Downing beginning to trail back. It'll be interesting to see when they straighten up just how well Paul Byrne is doing. We're anticipating something good from the St Albans athlete here, but on the crest of the turn, it's Downing looking good, Cochrane trying to move up. It's Quincy Downing who's leading the way in lane 6. Cochrane alongside. Yates looks out of it at the moment, so as they straighten up, a race won last year here by Thomas Barr. It's Downing in 6, it's Cochrane in 7. They're neck and neck heading over the final hurdle, and Cochrane looks to have landed the better. Downing is kicking, but Cochrane will win it for New Zealand. Oh, that's a good finish. Very, very good win. I think it was 49.83 83, and Quincy Downing just beaten in the end. Michael Cochrane doing fantastically well to get the triumph there, and that was a good win. 49.83 was the winning time, and that was a good surge right at the end, Thomas.
Absolutely, something I'd know myself, but absolutely a bit of a battle down the final straight, and there was a bit of a lactic sniper there shooting from somewhere up here in the stands as well.
It was a really good kick at the end, and Downing was surging towards the line, and he seemed to have increased his stride, but he didn't quite get there in the end.
No, not quite. You could see it. He was giving it everything he had, absolutely gunning himself for the line, but Cochrane just came out on top.
Really good finish. So a quick bit about you, touch and go for tomorrow as to whether you'll be competing in London.
Yeah, it was a niggle I picked up since I got back from Korea. It's something I've had for a while as a hip injury, and it just started playing up recently, so I'm not able to race today, unfortunately, and my physio just said it's really not worth risking the whole season on one or two races, so I'm going to go out to London. If I can race, I'll race. If not, I won't, and it's not that big a deal. Really, my money is on the World Champs.
So no Thomas Barr tonight, but we do have Michael Cochrane, a good win, and he is with Tulsa now.
Michael Cochrane, a fantastic time. It's been 18 months since you've broken 50, you were saying.
Yeah, last time was February 2014, so it's nice to be back here.
You're building up obviously to later in the year, but World Championships, etc., etc. How are you feeling within yourself then? You're really peaking at the right time?
Yeah, I think so. I think the race could have been a bit faster. A little bit of wind down the back straight meant that I couldn't quite execute, but made changes and got there well, so peaking right when I need to, yeah.
I guess Quincy was right on your shoulder there as well. He sort of stumbled a bit towards the end, but you held your form. That was probably what got you over the line.
Yeah, it's so nice having someone there. It's been a long time since I've had a neck and neck battle. It's either being beaten by a lot or beating others by a lot, so that's good. We had a bit of a bump over the second to last hurdle, smacked hands. I think I came off a bit better from it, but it happens.
Well, wish you all the best for the rest of the year, and thanks for taking the time. Go and get some rest.
Thanks, mate.
So a good victory in the end there for Michael Cochrane, and he just won it by a margin of 0.22 of a second. By the way, congratulations. Happy birthday, first of all.
There's a lot going on today.
Listen, congratulations as well, World Champion, Universiade World Student Games, and a fantastic victory in Korea. Good going.
Yeah, thanks very much. A little bit of a relief more than anything else, just to go in as favourite and come out and manage to pull it off.
Excellent, and we're delighted you're here, and obviously Beijing in the calendar as well for next month. And what's looking like a small-ish Irish team at the moment of 12, we're obviously hoping to get maybe 3 or 4 more qualified.
Yeah, hopefully. We still have the deadline still runs up until the 8th of August, or 8th, 9th of August of the National Championship. So, you know, people are going to be winding up their seasons now. So people will start coming out of the woodwork, start getting faster, jumping further and higher, and throwing further and longer. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of a bigger team. But the steeplechase girls did very well there in the last week or so. So it's actually nearly double the team, you could say.
Nice going. Well, thanks for joining us in commentary. We're delighted you're here. Shame you're not competing tonight, but never mind. Best luck in London. Hopefully it goes well, that you get on the track and you do well. Thomas Barr, thank you very much.
Cheers, Will.
Always great dealing with you, champ. Well done.
My pleasure.
So next race, we're moving on to the Irish Milers Club A race in the 800 metres. We had a series of these earlier before we were on live.
The high jump, 205.
So here's the field. Richard Owens of UCD, Darragh Lynch of Ennis, Brian Kelly of St Albans, Zach Curran, Mark Hoy, Michael Dyer, Kieran Kelly, James Ledingham of West Waterford, who we see doing a lot of pacing these days, Cormac Kelly and Paul Goodall. We also have Keith Fallon and Rory Finnegan, who's on pace-making duty tonight. And there's Rory, who's made the trip from up north, up in Donegal this evening, and also on our commentary team tonight, David Gillick, who we'll hear from in a few moments, and Dick Hooper. And always great to see 800 metres and mile races by the half dozen here.
Yeah, and this has the makings of a good race. Rory Finnegan is back from the European Junior Championships, where he did very well. He's pacing tonight, and this is really a very strong club field. A lot of these lads with times of around 148, 149, 150, and it's very competitive. and I think it has the makings of a very good race.
From the third place he finished in Cork. From the United States of America, Quincy Dowling.
So we've got 13 in this field for the A race of the men's 800 metres, including Rory Finnegan, who's a really good, talented athlete in his own right, obviously, but he's down as a pacemaker this evening.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Rory pacing, because he's well capable of winning this race in actual fact, but obviously his mind, maybe he's preparing for the National Senior Championships in a couple of weeks' time. They'll be expecting to go through 400 metres in around 53, 54 seconds, and a lot of them are chasing fast times because the conditions are good.
Yeah, that's the presentation for the men's 400 hurdles, edged by Michael Cochran in the end. It was 50.07 seconds was the winning time in the end, and a good victory for the New Zealander, who came fine against Quincy Downing right by the end. And as you can see, for the last, I would say, 45 minutes or so, absolutely full here in the main stand, and a great crowd still coming in to see Johan Blake and the rest a little bit later in the men's 100 metres.
Yeah, it's an excellent night for athletics. It's great when you're coming up from Coolock and down from Swords to see the crowds filing in, just like the old days. Great atmosphere building. There's a lot of Kellys in this race. Brian Kelly from St. Albans and his brother Cormac are in the field. Kieran Kelly from Raheny. They're unrelated, but they've come up against each other in a lot of jousts, and they're in or around the same standard. James Leddingham is here from West Waterford. Always good packs of punch over 800 metres. So they're up for the fight, and Rory, I hope, will do a good job in front, and let's see what they're made of.
Well, we do see James Leddingham pacemaking a lot these days, but he's in the race in his own right at the moment. Always great to see a full stand here at the Morton Stadium, as it always tends to be for the Morton Games, but there's quite a lot down past the finish line as well.
This race is sponsored by the Irish Milers Club, which was founded about 5 or 6 years ago with the express intention of raising the standard of middle distance running in Ireland, and it's doing a very fine job. We've had a series of races from D up to A. Here, this is the A one tonight, but every week over the summer we get athletes running good times in good competitive situations, because they're prepared to come together and compete against each other, and it's thanks to the Irish Milers Club that they've got to this level.
Absolutely fabulous crowd, and everybody largely in position now for this A race of the men's 800 metres. So it's Richard Owens of UCD in 1, Darragh Lynch of Ennis in 2, Brian Kelly of St. Albans 2, Zach Kern BMC 3, Mark Hoy and Michael Dyer in 4, Kieran Kelly 5, James Leddingham and Cormac Kelly 6, Paul Goodall 7, Keith Fallon, Rory Finnegan in 8. Lots of Kellys in this race, 3 in total. So underway in the main support race in terms of 800 metres here, and it's Owens, Lynch, Brian Kelly, Curran, Hoy, Dyer, Kieran Kelly, Leddingham, Cormac Kelly, Goodall, Fallon and Finnegan, who's our pacemaker, will be heading out towards the front pretty much straight away.
So they go down the back straight, they're allowed to break from their lanes, and Rory Finnegan takes up the running at the front. He's there to do a job, and he's going to do it well, because he's breezed through 200 metres in about 25.5 seconds, spot on to bring them through in about 52, 53 seconds, a little bit faster than we were expecting. And the Kellys are there, Brian and Kieran lurking, Mark Hoy is there, James Leddingham is there.
Yeah, Paul Goodall is going great guns at the moment. Behind our excellent pacemaker, Zach Kern just behind him, and also coming through is Kieran Kelly of Raheny Shamrock, and then for Finn Valley is Mark Hoy. They hit the bell, went through in around 53 seconds or so. Rory Finnegan to step off the track in the next few moments. His pacemaking duty done. It's Paul Goodall who will take the advantage. He goes out in front, ahead of Zach Kern, and now Zach Kern with a chance to hit the front in the back straight with 300 metres to go, and he's getting those long legs extended impressively. He hits the front at just the right time, but can he defend the advantage?
He's really gone for it. Kieran Kelly has moved up to second. Mark Hoy is third. It's between these three, it looks like, as they come around by the steeplechase jump. Kieran Kelly has bullish strength, and he will come down the straight. Very tough and very hard. He looks like he's about to kick now, Will.
It's looking like it. Here's the final turn, and it's Kieran Kelly of Raheny who's looking to hit the front on the outside, and a lot of battling coming from Zach Kern on the inside to try and defend the victory here, and Kern looks like he's going to pull it off. Kern will win it, and Kelly is in second place. Goodall is third, and fourth is Mark Hoy. 1:49.10 is the winning time in the end, and what a really good victory that was as he surged through. Great victory for Zach Kern, number 114 of BMC. He gets the victory, and Kern in the end, well, he had a lot of defending to do against Kieran Kelly, and he just about did it.
He did a great job, Zach. He went early on the back straight, and you wondered whether he would be able to hold off the challenge from behind, but he did it very well, and he was exceptionally strong down the home straight, because Kieran Kelly can run 47 seconds for 400 metres, and he was attacking him very hard. Kieran has come very close to his personal best of 1:49.22, so he will be within a touch of it. The winning time, 1:49.10.
So 1:49.10, the winning time. A fine victory it was too for Zach Kern of BMC. Did really, really impressively, and that a fine result. Very, very well defended in the end. Did marvelously. Good amount of defending to do. So the 400 metres hurdles won by Michael Cochran of New Zealand, 50.07 seconds. Quincy Downing second for the United States, 50.29. And Mikhail Broz of the Czech Republic, 50.75, seeking a qualifying time for Beijing. And unfortunately, he hasn't come close tonight. Houghton fourth, and Byrne was in fifth place.
We're going to get to give each and every one of these athletes a warm welcome as we introduce.
So coming up next, we'll have a couple of 100 metres races, and David Gillick, I mean, the crowd really excited at the prospect of seeing the 2011 world champion from Daegu here in Johan Blake.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic to have a sprinter of that calibre here in Dublin. Okay, it's hard to know what sort of shape he's in. He recently ran 10:20 over in Lausanne there very recently, so it's hard to know. He's probably not in the shape he once was, but to have that sort of talent here, what it does for a crowd, what it does for the Irish sprinters to be amongst that, is a fantastic opportunity.
So now the men's 100 metres races coming up. Well, what a field we have in this. Johan Blake of Jamaica, the 2011 world champion, is in this. Mark Lewis Francis from Great Britain, who won Olympic 4x100 gold in the relay in 2004, and the European 100 silver medalist 2010 in Barcelona. Marcus Lawler here as well. Zach Irwin, both of Ireland. Marcus Lawler was competing in the European under-23s. He won his heat in the 200, finished 7th in the final. Zach Irwin was 6th in his semi-final and bowed out there in the juniors in Sweden and Eskilstuna last week, while Lawler did so well in the under-23s in Tallinn. 4 athletes from Britain and 3 from Jamaica.
One of the most exciting schoolboy prospects now into the under-23.
So there's Johan Blake. It'd be very interesting to see how he attacks this race. Like, conditions-wise, there's a bit of a tailwind, which is great. Not sure the exact reading on it, but you know, there's a lot of people kind of talking. Can we see the first sub-10 here in Ireland? The all-comers record is 10:17, going back to Linford Christie in 1988, which was ran up in the St Mary's Mary Peters track up in Belfast. So it'll be very interesting to see what he can put down today. Mario Forsyth, again, another sub-10 athlete, and it is great to see a few Irish in there as well.
Well, there's Zach, who was competing at the European Juniors in Sweden last week. The back-to-back 100-200 schools champion Marcus Lawler coming into shot now from St Lawrence O'Toole's in Carlow, who won those 2 titles prior to that. I mean, we were saying when those two go senior, there could be a great Irish rivalry. And not only that, but a really good Irish sprint relay team as well.
And that's what you want, you know, the fact that they have all, you know, few internationals here, some really, really talented sprinters coming over to these shores. it helps the Irish sprinters get up to a decent level. It's good competition, even amongst Zach and Marcus here against themselves. You know, to be in that, that's what we need. We need this sort of on an ongoing basis to help the lads get on to the next level.
And obviously it's unfortunate that the likes of Thomas Barr and Mark English are out injured for this, and Ciara Everard as well, I believe, isn't here. And they are simply down to injuries. And the schedule is they were due to run here tonight and in London tomorrow in the Diamond League. Prospects are obviously that it's touch and go for them there as well. Sciatica for Mark English apparently, and a hip problem for Barr.
Yeah, like you've got to look at how long the season is, and you're always going to get a few niggles here and there. And I think with both like Mark and Tom, the big picture is, and the main objective is the World Championship. So they have to listen to their bodies. They have to be wise. You've got to, you know, run smart, and right now they've got to listen to their body. And there is that big meet, the big Diamond League going on in London tonight and tomorrow, so the opportunity is there for them to see how they warm up tomorrow and see if it actually is feasible for them to run.
So in this men's 100 metres, a couple of marks for you to watch out for. The stadium record is 10.20, set at last year's Morton Games by Warren Fraser of the Bahamas. There has never been a sub 10-second 100 metres on Irish soil. The Irish all-comers record set on the same day at the Mary Peters track in 1988, a couple of months ahead of the Olympics. It was a very late Olympics in Seoul that year. Dennis Mitchell and Linford Christie both clocking 10.17, and we would hope maybe that Johan Blake could be able to achieve that here tonight.
And don't rule out Michael Frater there as well, very experienced sprinter.
So it's Alaka of Britain in 1, Frater of Jamaica 2, Mackenzie of Jamaica in 3, Lewis Francis Great Britain 4, Blake of Jamaica 5, Forsyth Jamaica 6, Lawler of Ireland 7, Ayanful of Ghana in 8, Gilling of Great Britain in 9, and Zach Irwin of Ireland in lane 10. They're using every single lane here, and what a field for this men's 100 metres. 9.69, Blake's personal best. He and Tyson Gay, the second fastest men in history with that mark, behind Usain Bolt, who's elsewhere this weekend. But Blake's here, 10.20, his season's best. Can he improve on that? Give us our first sub 10-seconder. Great field. Frater, Lewis Francis, Blake. And they are away. Good start. Lewis Francis 4 and Blake in 5, and Blake going very well in 5, and Frater as well in 2. It's going to be Johan Blake to get the win, and Johan Blake 10.11. That is a stadium record, a meeting record, an Irish all-comers record. It's not sub 10, but it is very impressive, and a season's best for Johan Blake as well.
A brilliant run, absolutely brilliant run. I was looking to see how we'd approach the race. I was looking to see what he would do over the first 20 metres, but straight out of the blocks, drove, his head was down. Unbelievable power, unbelievable power. When he got up to about 60 metres, he just pulled away. Nobody could live with it. I was looking at the clock. I was hoping he was going to get under the 10 seconds. 10.11 is a season's best for him. It shows that he's coming into a bit of shape. But also, the track here is quick. The track is quick. The wind dropped just as the starter said get into the blocks. The wind dropped. Ideal conditions. And what I'm delighted to see as well, they used every lane. They gave everyone an opportunity there to run fast, particularly the two Irish guys in there as well.
Let's just introduce Johan here, and he'll give us a warm welcome here. So Johan, welcome to Dublin. You're
so a fine victory it was in the end for Johan Blake. 10.11, and that's a bit more like it for him. There's Mark Lewis Francis, who just found himself just out of the fray for the time being.
So it'll be very interesting to see what the times were all the way down through the field there, because like we said, it's the fastest we've ever seen here in Ireland. It's great that we have that talent come to the shores, because it produces results. It drives our own sprinters onto a new level.
Yeah, good victory for Johan Blake, and we're going to hear from him in the next few seconds. The 2011 world champion from Daegu when Usain Bolt full started. We all remember that. I remember commentating on it inside the stadium, the big gasp around the venue in Daegu when we realised that it was Bolt, and it was obviously Bolt and Blake getting the big opening and getting the big result there, and he's done the same here. 10.11. I mean, by his standards, quite modest, but it is his season's best.
It is, yeah, and you can see here, and it's great. It's great for the spectators to see a sprinter of that caliber. He's like the old sprinters back in the 80s. He's not as big as a Bolt, tall-wise. He's small, he's stocky, but the power and his stride length, particularly over the last 40 meters there, I think nobody could really live, and even Michael Frater, people like that, just couldn't live with his speed.
He's signing autographs at the moment, is Johan Blake.
He's enjoying this. He's enjoying this. Must be the weather, Will.
We're not dealing with muck here now, as my grandfather from Trinidad used to say.
So it'll be very interesting to see how Zach and Marcus, the times that they produce here in this race. Unfortunately, I was caught up looking at the leaders and seeing would Johan go sub 10. Mark Lewis Francis there, I think he was in, haven't seen him running in a couple of years, so he's still got life in the old legs yet.
Yeah, fine victory for Johan Blake. The 100 metres B race is coming up next, a mainly Irish field included in this. So it's Eamon Fahy in lane 1, Christopher Sabanda of South African 2, Joseph Owajumni of Tala, Keith Pike, Kieran Elliott, Owen Muldowney, Israel Obanu, and for Great Britain, Imran Rahman in lane 6.
In lane 1, wearing number 211, last year's winner of this race, Eamon Fahy from the North Harriers. In lane 2, wearing number 210 from the local Clonmel club, Christopher Sabanda. In lane 3, a member of the Irish.
So this is how the 800 metres resolved itself. Zach Curran winning 1:49.09. Kieran Kelly second for Raheny. Tight finish between the two, and Keith Fallon in third.
In 4.
So a good victory for Johan Blake, and he's with Tolson.
Blake and Johan, a new stadium record, fantastic atmosphere. How do you feel?
I'm feeling great, you know, I have to give God thanks. The crowd is wonderful. I just thank them for inviting me to this meet in Dublin. It's really good and the track is really nice.
As far as this year goes, would you be building more towards Rio next year? It's been a disrupted year for you.
Yeah, it has. You know, and I'll give God thanks. I run him again and I'm feeling good. You know, this is a build up for me. I think I'll come back next year regardless of the coldness, but it's really nice. The crowd is wonderful. They come out to see me do good today, and I did. You know, come back and form. I feel pretty good.
The 100 metres and the 200 metres, it's all of a sudden turned this year, hasn't it? With Justin Gatlin and the American challenge now.
Yeah, Gatlin is running really good. You know, and you know, my partner is saying he's training really hard, and it's not going to be easy in Beijing, so it's going to be a tussle.
As far as athletics goes and runners, do you find that the top athletes don't run against each other enough?
Yeah, we don't run against each other enough, you know, and that's something I would love to change, and I think coming next year it will change.
And as far as the rest of your year goes then, talk us through how it's going to pan out in training, heading out to everything else.
You know, feeling good, and I'm just going to go back in training and work on my last part of my race, because I think I could have gone 9 seconds here today, but I did some technical problem, but it's okay.
Johan, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Can I just go a picture with you, mate?
So what an excellent victory that was in the end for Johan Blake. He won it in 10.12 seconds. And we can confirm that in visual form. So Johan Blake wins 10.12 seconds. Michael Frater second, 10.27. Mario Forsyth in third for Jamaica. Marcus Lawler fourth, 10.47. That a season's best from, I think it equals his lifetime best also. Yeah. Alaka in fifth, Ayen full sixth. Mark Lewis Francis down in seventh, 10.67.
Great run by Marcus there. In that caliber of field, it's actually interesting to see the wind was a plus 1.4, so it is a little bit breezy down on track level, but a lot of sprinters like that, you know, it's plus 2 is the max, so anywhere 1.4, brilliant little kind of push behind them, so ideal sprinting conditions.
So a B race, and we just saw Israel Obanu of Ireland 2:08, Imran Rahman of Great Britain 2:15, Kieran Elliott of North Sligo 2:14 for Clonliffe. You recognise the singlet, that's Keith Pike. Joseph Owajumni of Talas in lane 3. Christopher Sabanda of Clonliffe in 2, and wearing 2:11 on the inside in lane 1 of Dunor Harriers is Eamon Fahy.
Yeah, so you're looking in the middle there. Keith Pike is having a decent season. Again, be looking ideal conditions here to go a little bit quicker, hopefully.
Yeah, 10.72, season's best for Keith Pike. Elliott 10.75 and Joseph Ochiwumi 10.76. But Imran Rahman this month has run a 10.49, and actually that wouldn't have had him low down in the A race. He'd have been 5th in the A race, just behind Marcus Lawler with 10.49.
So decent looking field there. You know, there's a lot of bit of strength and depth here.
So the B race of the men's 100 metres. Fahy of Denora in 1, Sabanda of Clonliffe in 2, Ochiwumi of Tala in 3, Pike of Clonliffe in 4, Elliott of North Sligo in 5, Rahman of Great Britain in 6, Muldowney of Castle Comer in 7, and Obanu for Ireland is in lane 8. Rahman the fastest of this field in 6. So away, first time, and a very, very solid start in 5 and 6. Elliott in 5, Rahman in 6, and Rahman coming to the 4, and Sabanda also in 2. And in lane 6, it's Rahman who takes the victory. 10.64 was the winning time. Very, very good performance by Imran Rahman. 10.64 unofficial, and that a very, very good finish indeed. So number 6, Imran Rahman gets the victory for Great Britain, 10.64. It's outside his season's best, but still it's a good solid performance by Rahman.
Good solid performance there. Was a bit ragged, I have to say, in the last 20 metres. Ran really well out of the blocks. Quite a level playing field there, and he just pulled away in the last 30 to 20 metres. His form kind of wavered a little bit, but again, it'd be interesting to see how the young Irish guys came through there in 2nd and 3rd. But again, it's a great opportunity for, you know, for a B race to give an opportunity to some of our younger talents coming through. As you mentioned earlier, Will, relay teams, this is where we want to build for the future. We need relay squads, we need strength in depth, and by giving young kids the opportunity to run in front of a home crowd with some decent talent, good competition, is exactly what is required.
So victory for Johan Blake then in the men's 100 metres, and he gets his prize. Michael Frater behind him in 2nd place, and Mario Forsyth in 3rd. And Jamaica 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think that's fairly evident of the strength that Jamaica has over 100 metres.
In the track that he set up. Another famous name on this track is L.B. Thomas. The next race on the track is the L.B. Thomas Memorial.
So very good victory for Johan Blake, and he basically did what the big crowds here have wanted him to do. And I can tell you on the bank just behind the finish line, there's hundreds and hundreds up there. It's one of the best crowds we've seen for a Morton game since we started covering it back in 2012. So this is the result of the B race. Imran Rahman taking it for Great Britain, 10.65. Sabanda 2nd for South Africa, 10.76. And Ochiwumi was best of the Irish, 10.77.
3-mile record, and hence in 1958, the world 1-mile, 2-mile, and 3-mile records were all created here at Morton Stadium. There's a big field of 30-plus runners.
Next event on the track here is the L.B. Thomas Memorial, 3,000 metres.
Look out for Andy Vernon, number 23, finished 2nd.
And there's a lot in this 3,000 metres. Will Gagan, who won in Cork, Neil Berry of Australia, David Flynn, who's here representing Ireland, Neil Berry of Australia, field of around 30. Andy Vernon also for Great Britain, John Coughlin, Dara Birmingham for Ireland, Zach Patterson of Australia, Kevin Batt, formerly of Australia, who moved to Ireland last year, Maverick Darling, who competed at the Cork City Sports also in 2. Former member of Clonliffe Harriers and now coaching in Wisconsin over in America. Maverick Darling wearing number 37. Okay, let's go down to Mark Lewis Francis. He's now with Tulson after finishing 7th.
Mark Lewis Francis, you're back and you're finishing races.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. You know, it's my first time actually competing in Dublin, so I'm quite excited to be here. I've been injured for the majority of the season, so to actually come here today and finish a race, my second race since my injury, I'm over the moon with that. You know, I've got my county championships next weekend, and that will be 3 races in one day. And I just think I'm building on next year for 2016 and the Olympic Games.
Tell me, how important is it moving back home?
Oh, very important. You know, I was in London for 10 years, training with Linford Christie, and just being back home around family and friends, you know, kind of gave me the motivation to carry on. You know, I'm not a young athlete no more. I'm 32 years old, and I still believe that I can still go out there and achieve medals.
What does running mean to you now, then?
Oh, it means a lot still. You know, I'm still passionate about the sport. I still want to achieve in the sport. I still believe I can go out there and compete with the best. You know, today it was a kind of great indication that, you know, I'm not there, but I'm not out. You know, and I can get myself back up to that kind of standard if I train hard and put my mind in the right place.
Where do you think you need to work on in your race then?
Just staying injury free. If I can stay injury free, then I give myself a good chance of actually getting up there and competing with some of the best in the world. Like I said, moving back home has gave me the drive and the determination to actually go out there in the winter time and train all the way through.
Mark, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
He finished in the end in 7th place, Mark Lewis Francis. But now let's look at this massive humanity for the men's 3,000 metres and a very, very impressive field, Dick, all told.
Yeah, traditionally this has been one of the races of the meet. We have a really good field here tonight. We have 9 top-class Irish runners for starters, and then from an international perspective we've Will Gagan, who won the Cork City Mile there a couple of weeks ago. He's run 7:45 this year, and there is actually a plethora of international competition around that time of 7:45. Also in there, Joe Stillen of the US. Of course, we've Andy Vernon from UK. Very interesting that Andy has chosen to come here over the meet in London this weekend, because I'm sure he would have got an invite there. Maybe he was avoiding a young man called Mo Farah, but who am I to throw that accusation about? But it's interesting that he's here, and it's good that he's here. He was here 2 years ago, and he also ran around 7:45 that night in a very memorable 3,000 metre race. 7:45 equates to about 62 seconds per 400 metres, 7.5 laps of the track. Probably the best of the Irish in here tonight is Kevin Batt. He's run 7:57. He's just back from the World Student Games where he made the final. He's running well. He's based in the States, running in collegiate races over there. Experienced on the circuit. Ran for Ireland in the European cross country before December. In good shape. He'll be looking for a PB tonight. As I said, his PB is 7:57. Maverick Darling is there from the US. He's run 7:46, and his teammate Reid Connor, a 13:34 5,000 metre man, is there. And another Brit, Ross Millington, who recently ran 7:49, is in there. So it's a really classy field.
Look at the crowds here. Well, the main stand and the athlete stand over on the far side, they were full for the European Team Championships here a couple of years ago. Very successful weekend, and the crowds here absolutely fantastic. So Kevin Batt is in the Irish singlet there, wearing 36. 48 alongside him is George Alex. The pacemakers are David Flynn wearing 46 and Peter Corrigan wearing 47. Flynn will take them to 1,000, Corrigan to 1,600.
Be interesting to see how John Coughlin fares here tonight. He's running 3,000 metres, normally a miler. This year he's dabbled with the steeplechase, so he's probably looking to see what he will do on the flat before he goes for a national 3,000 metre steeplechase title in a couple of weeks' time.
So ready for the Albie Thomas International 3,000 metres. Stadium record in this, set last year at the Morton Games, 7:44.21 from Juan Luis Barrios of Mexico. Well, almost.
Somebody obviously put their foot over the line there. Very large field, such a large field that they've actually had to split and stagger the start, as you can see. But no advantage accrues to the ones on the outside, I can assure you. It's well measured. they'll stay outside the cones until they hit the home straight.
So 32 in this field for the Albie Thomas International 3,000 metres. Will Gagan of the United States, who won the mile of the Cork City Sports. Isaac Preston of the USA. Adam Clark of Great Britain. Alex Parlin in New Zealand. Andy Vernon of Great Britain, the double medalist last year at the Europeans in Zurich. Brian Schrader of the USA. Carlos Jameson, USA. Chris Delhanty of Canada. For Ireland, Dara Birmingham, David Rooney, Owen Pearce, John Coughlin, Kevin Batt, Rory Chesser, Shane Quinn, David Flynn, all part of what feels like a cast of 1,000. Ethan Hayward there for Australia, along with Joe Tedesco and Neil Berry and Sam McEntee. For Belgium, it's Yannick Michaels and Jean-Pierre Waits. Joe Stillen for the USA, Johnny Taylor of Great Britain, Maverick Darling there for the United States, along with Reid Connor. Other way round, he could have represented Ireland. Ross Millington of Britain, Ross Proudfoot for Canada. And our pacemakers, Peter Corrigan and George Alex, and Zach Patterson of Australia as well. But our pacemakers, Flynn and Corrigan, leading them out at the moment. And on the inside, Will Gagan, who was so impressive in winning the mile at the Cork City Sports a fortnight ago.
David Flynn's job was to bring them through 400 metres in 62 seconds. He did that spot on. And the field is just locked in behind him and well strung out, and that's because the pace is strong and it's fast. A lot of the Irish guys wouldn't be capable of running 7:45. They'll be zoning in maybe on breaking 8 minutes. The Dara Birminghams, the David Rooneys, the Rory Chessers, all those guys that are in there. David Flynn continuing the pace from the front, 1:34 at 600. He'll do very well if he can get them to 1,000 metres, but the second pacemaker is on his shoulder, so don't be fooled. The race doesn't begin until the pacemakers drop out.
Yeah, Will Gagan is moving up right at the front, and also up there is George Alex of the United States and Joe Stillen of the USA. He's in the orange singlet, tucked in around 4th or 5th at the moment. A bit of movement coming up on the outside from John Coughlin, 4-minute miler. His father is here, Eamon. We saw him a little bit earlier, moving up in the outside. Andy Vernon now moving up into 5th place, but effectively 3rd behind the two pacemakers. And now Andy Vernon tucking himself in right behind Will Gagan.
Okay, coming up to the 1K mark, and we'll be looking for a time around the 2:45 mark. Flynn is still in front. The second pacemaker, Corrigan from the US, on his shoulder. Andy Vernon has moved into a menacing position. Andy Vernon and Will Gagan look the main protagonists in this race to me. I saw Will Gagan run the mile in Cork recently, and I was very, very impressed with the way he ran it from the front, how controlled he was in his pace, and his raw courage when he took on the pace when nobody else was prepared to do so. Andy Vernon is always a rugged cross-country type athlete who has surprising speed. He medalled in both the 5,000 metres and the 10,000 metres at the European Outdoors in Zurich. He's moved up to the shoulder of the pacemaker. He won't want Will Gagan around for too long. They're going through 3,000 metres in, 1,200 metres in 3:11. They would like it a little bit faster than that, I would think.
Yes, Will Gagan on the inside, 8th place finisher in the 1,500 at the United States Championships last month, 4th in the NCAA 5,000 for Oregon this year. But Andy Vernon, 2 medals last year in Zurich at the European Championships, silver in the 10,000, bronze in the 5,000, and also a European cross-country bronze medalist as well. He's been very good in the cross-country circuit. That was back in 2013 when he claimed the medal there in Belgrade. So Andy Vernon and Will Gagan are the two leading it out at the moment and looking quite strong. Our other pacemaker is going to step off, Peter Corrigan, very shortly, but it's Vernon who looks in a very good position. Vernon very much in control. Joe Stillen just behind them as well. On the inside, trying to make a bit of movement, wearing 48 is George Alex there of the United States. Alongside him on the outside, Ross Millington of Great Britain, who we see quite a lot over on these shores. And out goes the other pacemaker, Peter Corrigan.
And Andy Vernon has now taken over. The pace actually dropped there, Will, on the 3rd and 4th lap. They were 4:13 at the mile, at the 1,600 metre mark, when you would have expected them to be about 4:08. So Andy Vernon is going to make this tough. He's the strong man in the field. He's going to drag the strength out of them. And this is a great spot to go, coming up with 3 laps to go. Andy Vernon, Will Gagan.
So it's Andy Vernon who leads. Will Gagan is in second place. Third now for the United States. Coming up right behind is Brian Schrader. Schrader, who ran 7:57 a couple of weeks ago at the Cork City Sports in a 10,000 metres PB back in May of 28. His 5,000 PB set back in April of 13.40. But Andy Vernon looking very strong. 7:45.75 he ran at the Morton Games in 2013. His PB over 5,000 set back in May. That's 13:11, and something like that would definitely win it for him tonight. It is Vernon who's in the lead. In second place, it's Will Gagan. Third now is Brian Schrader. Fourth is Sam McEntee of Australia, who competed in the Morton Mile last year. It's a big step up for him, and that's the top four at the moment. Fifth is Ross Proudfoot, and Johnny Taylor of Great Britain is just behind him in sixth.
So coming up with 2 laps to go, Vernon leads from Gagan. Gagan looks so comfortable there. Vernon would be eminently conscious of the fact that the miler is lurking on his shoulder, but there's more than Will Gagan lurking on his shoulder. There's 2 other men stacked in behind him, but Vernon is tough. Vernon is hard. He's going to make this tough for them, and if they win, they're going to have to get one past one strong man.
700 metres to go, and it's Andy Vernon who leads. It's Will Gagan just behind him in second place. There's been a little bit of movement just behind them. Pushing his way up into third place is Sam McEntee of Australia now, and Ross Proudfoot just behind them in fourth place at the moment. But it's the top 3 beginning to pull away slightly from the rest with 5:50 to go, and it's Vernon who leads Gagan, and now they have to deal with McEntee of Australia as well as they turn into the closing straight for the penultimate time.
I wonder, does McEntee have Irish relations? He sounds like he's from north of the border, but he's from Australia on the programme. Vernon leads at the bell. Gagan is poised. McEntee is there. I think this race is there for the taking for Will Gagan, but he needs to go soon.
Well, there's the bell. Don't rule out Zach Patterson of Australia either. He's made a very good move up on the outside, and he's moved up into the top 4 now, wearing the purple singlet at 99. 300 to go, and Will Gagan now thinking that this is the time to go. He's overtaken Andy Vernon. Also moving up past Vernon is Sam McEntee of Australia. Vernon now down in third place, and he might be about to be taken out by Patterson as well. But what a great victory it was in the mile from a man who was due to compete in the 3,000 of the Cork City Sports. That was Will Gagan, and it's a big battle for him to try and defend his line now. It's Gagan against McEntee. Gagan on the inside, McEntee on the outside, hits the front for Australia. It's Sam McEntee pushing up, and Sam McEntee looks as if he's going to inflict a defeat on Gagan here, who won so impressively in Cork, but he'll be beaten here. It's victory for Sam McEntee, and second is Will Gagan this time, and what a victory. 7:48.35 unofficial. A very, very good time, slightly outside the stadium record of last year of Barrios of Mexico, but what a good victory in the end for Sam McEntee. He did brilliantly.
And perhaps lost in the excitement of all of that, John Coughlin has run a very fine 8:02, I would say. Dara Birmingham rate 8:09, David Rooney 8:17, Owen Pearce a good time as well. A race like that brings out the best in everybody, but what a fine run by Sam McEntee to take Will Gagan in the sprint. Will looked like he was on his way to a great victory, and Sam, who had come from behind and worked his way into it over the last 800 metres, he timed his run right. He went with 150 to go, and he held off whatever it was that Will Gagan had left in his legs. But what a great race.
Well, what a great battle that was in the end in the closing straight, and Will Gagan, who did so wonderfully in the mile, took that of the Cork City Sports, but he was just taken out of it in the end by a man who competed in the Morton Mile here last year, and that was Sam McEntee, who gets the victory here. So victory for Sam McEntee, and he's with Tulson.
Sam McEntee, a conservative pace, I suppose, for the first maybe 4 laps, and then you really came into your own behind Andy Vernon and Will Gagan just sitting back.
Yeah. So that's one of my strengths, is my closing speed. I'm a bit of a miler, but starting to move up a bit since I finished college. It's a good race, the guys were there. It was a nice smooth pace and just finished strong.
Yeah, you ran the mile here last year. Yeah. Do you prefer the 3,000 metres? Is that where you want, or do you want to go even higher than that?
3,000 is good for now. Happy winning, you know, it's my first win for a while, so I'll take it.
How does the training differ then for a 3,000 metres compared to the mile?
Not too much, you know, I've always trained further than I'm usually racing, like a 3K, 5K running for my miles anyway. So it's not too bad, it's more just since I've been over here and since the start of June with Nick Beddoes' group, Melbourne Track Club, sort of upped the mileage a bit and it's paying off.
Talk us through the next 18 months now, because the big goal obviously is Rio 2016.
Yep, yeah, that's the goal, you know, I've just come out of college in May, didn't have the best finish to my time there, but a great 4 years all up, and you know, now I'll start training with the Melbourne Track Club boys, move down to Melbourne at sort of October, November, and go from there, and that's the real goal, Olympics.
How important in development was your college career then?
Like leaps and bounds, you know, I came on a long way from that. Didn't really start running competitively until I was 16, 17. So, you know, to go to college and get a lot of experiences, such good depth, it really helped a lot.
Sam, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
So what a fine result that was in the end. Victory going in the closing stages to Sam McEntee there, and that was a very fine finish, David Gillick, wasn't it?
That was a great finish, yeah, absolutely. Cracking event, good fast pace there as well, and you could see there they took it on right at the bell, and really strong finish.
Well, the pace will be a bit quicker here. It's the women's 200 metres. And after a brilliant race at the Cork City Sports, this should be good. Well, Kelly Proper is still chasing a qualifying place for the World Championships in Beijing in the 200 metres. Came close to victory at the Cork City Sports a couple of weeks ago. 23.24, his season's best, 0.04 of a second outside the qualifying mark. And Cleo Van Boren, who won in the 100 of the Cork City Sports here as well. Former schools champion Cleona Manning goes in lane 2 in this also. And Steph Creaner, Irish international, personal best from Dublin City Harriers of 23.72. Good field.
Absolutely, yeah. And for Kelly there, lane 4, she's in the mix. You got Chloe Van Bern inside her, and then you've got Samantha Edwards just outside her from Antigua and Barbuda. So she's in the mix. She's going to need to really run fast tonight because time is running out to get these standards. And I think if you look at the way the races are going to line up, with Samantha Edwards outside her, who's very strong over 400 metres.
Well, there's Kelly. She's been working very hard, concentrating mainly on the 200 metres this season. The 34 times Irish champion, 19 indoor, 15 outdoor. And she's come so close, 0.04 of a second outside, which she ran at the Folkestone meeting in Sweden on the 25th of June. The presentation for the 3,000 metres, victory for Sam McEntee. Second is Will Gagan, and third, Ross Proudfoot of Canada. Why is it here, by the way, that the 1, 2 and 3 is slightly different from how we see it internationally? Is there a reason for that?
As in, 1 is higher, 2 is a little bit, and then 3 is lowest?
2 and 3 are reversed.
They are, yeah. It's the way we do it here.
Fine,
gotta spice it up a little bit.
That's all I need to know.
Have you been on the podium recently, Will?
No. but when you're number 1, I don't think you care about the other positions, do you?
No,
as you've been a good few times. Big cheers around the stadium, by the way, for Johan Blake, who is still signing autographs
quite the crowd pleaser. But here we go, back to the 200 there. Again, like Kelly, phenomenally talented athlete. She's focused a bit on multi-events over the years and probably meandered a little bit around, you know, focusing on the one single event, arguably her best event at 200 metres. And she's got opportunity here to qualify for Beijing. As you said, 23.20 is the time she's looking for. She has ran 23.24 in Folkestone there recently, so she's in form this season, and I think this is the race where potentially it's on the cards. She's got to stay relaxed. You know, the danger is over 200 metres. When you come into the last, you know, 20 to 30 metres, tendency for athletes to kind of tighten up a little bit. She needs to stay relaxed. She needs to just stay in the race. She's got good athletes around her. Really work the bend, transition well into the home straight, and just keep relaxed and keep fighting all the way to the line. He's getting he can't get out of the place.
He's still signing autographs. And when did he win? About 20 minutes ago?
No, fair play to him. Like he's putting in the time here to, these are all fans. These are what we want. We want the kids to kind of see their idols and see their sports stars. And he's out there. He's been signing autographs and getting in selfies and all this. So very popular.
It's absolutely brilliant to see. And there you go. He's even taking the photos himself. He's multi-talented as our Johan, the beast.
No, it's such a draw here. So I congratulate the organisers for getting the big names here, because it just promotes the sport here in Ireland.
Fabulous hero worship for the winner of the men's 100 metres ahead of the women's 200. Kelly Proper in lane 4 then, targeting 23:20. So watch the clock closely. This might just be the place to do it.
And like I was saying there, Will, Samantha Edwards, a lane outside, are very, very strong over 400 metres. She's ran 52.8 this season over 400.
So it's McCallion of Ireland in 1, Manning of Ireland in 2, Van Buren USA 3, Proper of Ireland in 4, Edwards of Antigua 5, Kelly of the Virgin Islands 6, Alcock Great Britain 7, Craner of Ireland is in lane 8. And we'll have to repeat that again in a few moments because there was a faulty start. But at this time of the season, and I'm racking my brain trying to remember if you were ever in that position, possibly towards the end of your career, where you're just chasing a time and you know it's possible, but it's just marginally outside of your reach.
Yeah, and like this is the thing, even when you're chasing targets, you're chasing times, qualifying standards, you can tend to kind of go into races very uptight. You're trying to it's going to happen today, and you've literally just got to relax. Like the computer's programmed, you've put in the work, you just got to let the race flow. But it's one of the challenges of being an athlete and you're chasing qualifying times.
So the women's 200 metres, Kieran McCallion of Ireland in 1, Cleena Manning of Ireland in 2, Cleo Van Buren USA 3, Kelly Proper of Ireland in 4, Samantha Edwards of Antigua 5, Ashley Kelly of the British Virgin Islands in 6, Emmy Alcock of Britain in 7, Steph Craner of Ireland, and DCH is in lane 8. So away they go this time. It's Van Buren in 4 and it's Proper in 5, and Proper who came so close to victory at the Cork City Sports, and she's hanging on very well here at halfway as they straighten up. Kelly Proper in lane 4. Van Buren out of it at the moment. It's Kelly Proper who's rocketing away. Now the clock will be very important here. Kelly Proper is going to win at the Morton Games. And what about the time? Kelly Proper wins 23:29. Unofficial is what we have, and that was absolutely domineering. It was dominant, and she was not going to be beaten this time. What a thumping victory by Kelly Proper.
That was a great run by Kelly. Unfortunately, it wasn't as fast as she would have liked, but I have to hand it to her from the blocks, from the get-go, out really strong. I thought her bend was absolutely brilliant. Her first 50 metres drove hard into the bend. She set it up for herself. She kept the hips high, shoulders relaxed. She transitioned really well into the home straight. And the strength, she pulled away from some really, really good 400-metre athletes in that race who were generally very strong in the latter of a 200 metres. Really, really good, powerful run. She is in shape. Unfortunately, time is running out regards to qualifying standards. She's got another opportunity. The Irish Championships coming up, but you got to hand it to her there. Very, very positive run.
Well, it's been a really good season of results for her. And that's another good victory here. Now the clock stopped 23:29.
So just waiting for the official time to come up. I don't know if we can be rounded down by 0.09, but again, just going back to the way she executed the race was very, very positive. I was really impressed with her last 50 metres, Will. Nobody could get near her. She kept relaxing. You could see her. She was driving for the line, but still, and she came into this race probably thinking, right, here's an opportunity. I have to attack it, and she did.
So good victory for Kelly Proper. How well she did.
Kelly Proper, it was a case of so close yet so far again.
Yeah, a win is a win. So I'm happy to win at an Irish International, so it's great.
It's been a tough couple of weeks for you. You must be really feeling it in the legs now.
No, that's what we train for all year. So, I'm training since October for this season, so we train to compete, so I'm enjoying it.
Where to now then?
Probably go to Belgium next week, and then we have nationals, so I'm looking forward to the next few weeks.
How difficult is it then trying to get that time and mentally up top?
It's not. I think I have the training done, so I think I will get the time. I think I'm good enough to get it. Just need to be in the right race. I'm doing a few races and I think I'll get it sooner or later, so I'm not worried.
How have you found the crowd here? Always is a special atmosphere.
Yeah, it's great. It's great international. They've built it over the last few years, so it's great that we've started to have these in Ireland, and it's great the weather's nice tonight.
Kelly, as always, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Thank you.
So victory for Kelly Proper, and that is 23:54, the official time given at the end. Amy Alcock in second place for Great Britain. Ashley Kelly of the British Virgin Islands was in third, and Cliona Manning, creditable enough, in fourth, 24.05.
Yeah, not as quick as we would have liked there, but she got the win. I think she was a little bit disappointed in her post-race interview, but it's understandable. It's that stage of the season where you're trying, you really want to get on the plane, you want to qualify for the major championships, you're putting everything in, you've had a long year of solid work and you just wanted to pay off, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully she can gather herself for the Irish Championships.
So the men's 400 metres is coming up next. David Gillick's former specialised subject. So this is the list for Heat 2, which is coming up a little bit later. It's the list for the other race, which we'll be looking for. But Richard Morrissey, we can see a lot of Irish, 5 in that other race.
Yeah, so I think we're looking at the 400s here as a massive opportunity. We have a relay team going out to the World Championships. They've qualified, so potentially just 6 athletes in there. Now they will bring in the likes of Tom Barr, 400 hurdler, Mark English, 800 metres. But in this race, between the two races, there's a lot of qualification slots going, if you like, ahead of the National Championships next week. So it's a good opportunity for the Irish athletes to put down some decent times. Brian Gregan is our leading light at the moment. He's ran just dipped under 46 last weekend. 45.98 I think it was, so he's coming into a bit of shape. He did make some changes this year. He was over in England training, didn't really work out, came home, went back to his former coach John Shields. Here is home track in Clonliff. You got Dara Kervick, who's going to be on the outside. Now Dara had a great, let's see,
no, that's totally wrong. Totally wrong.
Yeah. So we've got it back to Dara Kervick, who had a great indoor season, really well indoors, ran great down that long, indoor champion, went over to the Europeans and done quite well. He's been injured a little bit, so this is his first race. So it'll be very interesting to see what Dara does here. But from an international field, Jared Dunn is probably the one to watch. He won the European Teen Championships for GB earlier in the year, early June, running 45.09, a cracking run. Really got into that race and ran very well, and he's probably the person to watch here. A few others, Americans here to come over as well, challenge a little bit, but they're all in and around the 45 mid, bar Jared Dunn, who's ran that a little bit quicker. So very good for Brian Gregan, good field to be in, and hopefully now he can chip away at his season's best.
So the field for the men's 400 metres, it's Jamie Bowie of Great Britain in 1, Shemaine Fitton of Jamaica in 2. Jamie Bowie of Great Britain in 1, Shemaine Fitton of Jamaica in 2, Pat Feeney of USA in 3, Brian Gregan of Ireland in 4, Jared Dunn of Great Britain in 5, Richard Buck of Britain in 6, Mantio Mitchell of the USA in 7, and Dara Kervick of Ireland is in lane 8. Kervick had a very good run of late, was in the squad for Prague, did very well, was in the 4x4 squad there. 46.53, his best. And Brian Gregan, absolutely, just doing his best to try and get back to where he was a couple of years ago when he was in contention for a medal in Helsinki, and obviously a European underage medalist also.
And also watch, you've got Shemaine Fitton in lane 2, Jamaican guy, 45.5, decent standard. Mateo Mitchell, again, Here we go here. So Jamie Bowie, lane 1, Jermaine Fitton in lane 2, Pat Feeney from America in lane 3, Brian Gregan in 4, Jared Dunn, Britain in lane 5, probably the favourite in the race, Richard Buck from GB in 6, Matteo Mitchell from America in lane 7, and Ireland's own Dara Kervick out in lane 8. So very important now. Get out well from the blocks, go through the first phase of the race, drive, get up to your cruising speed, as I call it, down the back straights. Try and stay relaxed.
Yeah, Matteo Mitchell there, who was famously silver medalist in the American 4x4 team at the Olympic Games London 2012 on a broken leg. Third year in a row he's been here. Kervick in 8, Gregan in lane 4. 46.34 is season's best, lifetime best of 45.53. Very positive to see if he can get back towards that, and obviously last few European Team Championships he's got some absolutely storming results. So it's Bowie in 1, Fitton in 2, Feeney 3, Gregan 4, Dunn 5, Buck 6, Mitchell 7 and Kervick in lane 8. It's away first time, Gregan in lane 4, all in black, looking for a big performance, big result here last year at the Morton Games. Can he do the same again? He's had a couple of really good summers, trying to pick his form up this year, but it's Matteo Mitchell in lane 7 who's flying at the moment, about to overtake Dara Kervick in 8.
Jared Dunn has gone off very well on the inside. Gregan's trying to stick with him now, but Jared Dunn is the one to watch this race. He's 45.09 already this year. Brian Gregan is staying with him. He's doing really well now off this bend. He's got to just stay relaxed, drive into this bend, into the home straight.
And as they straighten up, it's Jared Dunn who leads and is Gregan alongside. And Gregan, does he have the kick tonight to win in front of a home crowd at the Morton Games? Gregan is pushing and pushing, but he'll be held off in the end, and Jared Dunn gets the win. And it's 45.90.
45.9 unofficial.
And Gregan so close in second place. Good victory for Jared Dunn, the way that he had to defend. And Gregan, so often we've seen him here with that great kick to get the victory, but this time he has to settle for second place. Not a bad result though, and I think a season's best for him.
I think just possibly a season's best. He did run a season best last week of 45.98, so he'll be in thereabouts. But I think the way he put the race together, Jared Dunn, it's a little bit slower than what he has ran already this season, but to give credit to Brian on the top end, Jared Dunn kind of pulled away a little bit at the 200 mark. Brian stayed relaxed. He closed the gap on him into the home straight, stayed relaxed, and almost, I thought he was going to get him. I thought he was going to just get past him, but to be fair to Jared Dunn, he held it together. But overall, another good solid run for Brian, and from a relay perspective, you know, we need Brian in there. We need him in good form.
Yeah, it was a good performance really from Brian Gregan, but it was second place in the end for him. Put in a very, very good display, but in the end beaten by Jared Dunn, who gets victory for Britain.
Jared Dunn, not a bad time there, just outside the stadium record and just outside the time you set earlier this year for yourself.
Yeah, it's quite pleasing. First time here at the Morton Games, and the Irish crowd are fantastic. I mean, I've ran Cork a few times, but that's my first time here, and the atmosphere is fantastic. And I was going for that stadium record, but just missed out, so I have to come back next year.
Brian Gregan was certainly pushing you towards the end there.
Yeah, Brian's a great athlete. Yeah, I knew he was going to be there or thereabouts come the end of the race was set up for him. Yeah, it's obviously great that to have a home athlete like that in the race, and the crowds go crazy. It's grateful we could put on a good show for the crowd today.
How have you viewed your season so far then?
Pretty good. Yeah, given that the start of the year my PB was 46.0, so I've run 45.0 this year. Yeah, it's not a bad way. Obviously off to the World Champs in a few weeks' time as well.
I was going to say, timing your season just right for the World Champs becomes a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, this 400 in the UK at the minute is very strong. We had 6 guys who've run the standard already this year, so the trials were loaded. So I was grateful to obviously make the team. and yeah, so looking forward to getting it to Beijing now and going even quicker.
Jared, enjoy it. Thanks very much. There's another man over here in Brian Gregan who was up against you just then. Brian, thanks very much for taking the time. How do you feel after that? I know you ran a 200 in Cork a couple of weeks back, but do you feel you're really getting something back in your legs now?
Yeah, like I ran sub 46 there at the weekend and I meet here, so getting back into shape. It was far from ideal conditions, really cold, quite windy on the back straight, but I felt good, so season's best. It was okay. Plenty more to come in a couple of races.
Just talking to Jared then, he's obviously had a really good season. He's off to the World Championship, so considering you were right on his coattails towards the end there, it gives you certainly a lot of confidence.
Well, he beat me by a second and a half in our last race, so I was injured and sick for the last couple of weeks, but I got 3 solid weeks in, and yeah, no, I'm starting to compete again and competing at my best.
Where to from here then?
Next weekend I'm over in Belgium, have a meet down to the national championships after that.
The next 12 months is obviously going to be very big for you. You're hoping to stay injury free, which is the key.
If I stay injury free, I'll qualify for Worlds and Olympics. Just that's the important thing, is trying to stay fit and away from illness and injury.
Brian, thanks for taking the time as always.
So Brian Gregan saying there, quite windy in the back straight, put him off his stride a little bit.
Yeah, potentially, you know, it is. From our vantage point up here, you know, I'm kind of looking at the flags and it looks very flat, but it's a different story down on track level. And yeah, it can, like, that's a 400, it's one lap, so if the wind is a tailwind, it's a headwind, and it's vice versa. So down the back straight, it's going to be in your face a little bit, and if you're not expecting it, it can kind of put you off a little bit, but you've got to kind of take that into account.
So here's the B race of the men's 400 metres. They have actually run them in the reverse order than was originally anticipated, but there are a lot of athletes here pushing for the Irish 4x4 team for Beijing in the World Championships. Owen Buggy, Brandon Arry, who was in Prague for the indoors, Richard Morrissey, Brian Murphy and Timmy Crow, who we also saw in Prague also.
Yeah, again, like there's a lot, like I said, relay spots are up for grabs here. Richard Morrissey, Brian Murphy were involved in Zurich last year, and they ran a national record in the heat and also improved that in the final. Hard to know exactly what sort of shape they're in. They're probably recently in the summer, 47 seconds, so they'll be looking to go a little bit quicker here ahead of the national championships coming up. Andrew Steele from Britain there is in good shape as well. He's looking to make the British relay team, so he's got to put in a sub 46 performance here tonight.
So Buggy, Arry, Plendler, Steele, Morrissey, Murphy, Crow and Maguire, the 8 in this. And away first time, 5 in this for Ireland, and 4 of whom have already competed for Ireland in the last 12 months at international championships. Morrissey doing so well in Zurich, and Brian Murphy as well, who ran in the semi-final. It's great that it's a good crop, have managed to emerge. Richard Morrissey looking to move up well in 5, and in 4 is Andrew Steele.
Andrew Steele there, absolutely. Like like I said, he's looking for a sub 46. His training partner is Richard Morrissey, so they know each other very well. He's after kicking really well there, coming into the home straight, transition it now, and he's pulling away. He's trying to stay relaxed. Looks like a good run.
It's Steele who's going to win this, and in second place at the moment is Grant Plantalith, and the Irish boys are being left behind. Look at this, Andrew Steele coming through. What a result this is. 46.18, it looks like unofficial, and in second place in the end was Grant Plantalith, and a whole array of Irish athletes immediately after that looking to impress for the relay squads, but most impressive of all, very, very good, Andrew Steele. How good was that?
That was a solid run by Andy. I kind of thought he slowed up almost around the 200 mark, but he really kicked it 150 metres to go and opened up a huge gap that he was never going to be beaten. I think Brian Murphy might have nicked in there for 3rd, so again puts him up the rankings now for qualifying to get into that relay spot. Again, time was probably a little bit out what Andrew Steele would have liked. As I said, trainer partner to Richard Morrissey, which I don't think Richard kind of tied up a little bit now in the last 20 to 30 metres, but maybe the wind is kind of strong in the back straight. It is putting a few of these athletes off. But it'll be interesting to see the results now in regards to times, because they're very important ahead of the championships next week. You know, it's great that we have a relay squad qualified for Beijing, which is ahead of Rio, is very, very important. For the relay to qualify for Rio, you have to be in the top 16 teams in the world, and the way they rank them is they take your 2 fastest times and they literally take the average of them. So after last year's heroics in Zurich, Ireland were in about 11. Now we've dropped back a little bit to about 13th, so it's very important that we stay in the top 16, and obviously the times that we do. There's Johan. He's
still borrowing cameras,
enjoying it, isn't he?
I think we should go down. Dick can look after the commentary gantry on his own. Still here, still taking photos, still signing autographs. Now in the high jump, we have a result, and Dowie Amels has won that. He's rounding off the competition. So here he comes, Dowie Amels, 2:26, his first attempt, having won the competition, and he's just missed out, but he'll have 2 more attempts. He has got the victory here, though. He'll have 2 more attempts, but victory is his. But what a really good result that was in the B race for Andrew Steele in the 400 metres. And again, that was a very, very dominant performance by him.
It was, yeah. And like Brian Murphy getting up for the bronze there. So that kind of, again, like I was saying, puts him in Brian in good stead to make it a relay, potentially for Beijing.
It'll be a squad of 6. Andrew Steele with a victory then, 46.18. Grant Plendelith in second place. And the Irish behind, Brian Murphy, 47.58. Timmy Crowe, 47.73. And Richard Morrissey in 5th place, 47.88.
Yeah. Not a great run by Richard there, unfortunately. And I think what we'll be looking from a relay perspective is we need a couple of more guys, sub 47 at least. Brian Gregan getting under the 46. He ran a 45.99. Again, it backs up his season's best from last week. Potentially there's a few tenths that come off that maybe next week at the Irish Championships, but I think we need a bit of strength in depth. The guys really need to get under the 47s if the relay squad is going to have an impact in Beijing ahead of Rio next year.
So Jared Dunn with victory in the A race of the men's 400 metres, 45.89. Brian Gregan, 45.99. I think only the second time this season he's dipped under 46. And Pat Feeney in 3rd place for the United States, 46.61, with Bowie 3rd, Bowie 4th, and Buck in 5th.
Yeah, it's a good run from Brian there. You know, would have probably liked a little bit quicker, but Dara Kervick backing it up, and then your first run of the season as well. So, you know, they need to just get going. You know, time is running out, and you know, we really want to get that relay to Rio.
So Sam McKenzie with a victory in the Albie Thomas Memorial 3,000 metres, 7:48.35, a very impressive victory. 0.4 of a margin ahead of Will Geoghegan in 2nd place, Ross Proudfoot 3rd for Canada, and Andy Vernon run out of the top 3. He finished 4th, 7:51.13, with Ross Millington finishing in 5th place and Zach Patterson in 6th. Very good victory, Dick.
Yeah, Sam was a little bit of a surprise there. He's Australian. They're based in Teddington for the summer, these Aussies, a group of them over with Nick Bedeau. And Sam ran very well to take out Will Geoghegan, who had run so well in the Cork Mile a few weeks ago. Andy Vernon may be a little bit disappointed with his trip overseas. He would have expected probably to win it, actually. 7:51, a little bit off his best.
Now, good indication he will be running in London tomorrow, by the way, which is what Thomas Barr is hoping to do, and Mark English too. Not competing tonight. Mark English out with sciatica, but he may be competing tomorrow. So running down the second page of results from the 3,000 metres, John Coughlin in 14th, 8:02. Kevin Batt 16th, just marginally behind, 8:02.93. Rory Chesser in 18th place, who had done so well at the Cork City Sports, by the way, about 7th. Maverick Darling down the field in 19th. Dara Birmingham was 20th.
Yeah, but you've got to realise the depth that was in that race. A lot of those guys have run personal best, so fantastic depth in that. For Dara Birmingham to finish 20th with a time of 8:10 is just fantastic running.
So now the Irish Milers Club against the British Milers Club over 3 3/4 laps. It's the mile.
Correction, 4 laps.
So Eric Keogh, Matty Sherling, Kevin Mulcair is in this. Thomas Morton, Neil Johnson, William Crowe, and Neil McCartan.
Kevin Mulcair is one of the most exciting young athletes to arrive on the Irish scene in recent times. He ran fourth in the European Junior 5,000 metres a couple of weeks ago, and we'll tell you more about him as the race unfolds.
Of course it is. There was I introducing the 1500, but never mind. Mile it is.
They're forgiven. A mile is actually 1,609 metres.
I will write that down. Thank you. So it's the IMC against the BMC, Irish Milers Club against the British Milers Club, over a mile. So it's Thomas Morton of Dunshaughlin, Neil Johnson of Springwell, William Crowe of North Sligo, Neil McCartan of Eastdown, Emma Dunleavy of Sligo, Gareth Hill of Ballymena and Antrim, Andrew Connick of Ferrybank, Niall McCormick of Clonmel, Michael Dowling of Rathfarnham, Andrew Mariani of Woodford Green. And from the Irish Milers Club, James O'Hare, Eric Keogh, Kevin Mulcair and Joe Warren. And the British Milers Club, Kevin Bell, Matty Sherling, Jack Hallis and Steve Mitchell.
Yeah, as I said earlier, the British Milers Club was founded originally. The Irish Milers Club followed on from what the BMC was trying to achieve, which is to provide quality races, get good quality athletes competing against each other, and ultimately for everybody to run faster. And this is the effect that it's having. So tonight's race is a little bit of a celebration of that, with mostly athletes from the Irish Milers Club and then some guests from the BMC, and having a little joust between them. Also some top Irish milers in there as well. 59 seconds for the first lap. That's nice running.
Steve Mitchell leading them out at the moment. O'Hare looking to move things up from the Irish Milers Club. They in the green singlets here. And they really are spread out at the moment with around 2 3/4 laps to go.
Yeah, just to elaborate on what I was saying about Kevin Mulcair earlier and how exciting a talent he is. He has been the top junior schoolboy athlete of distance running over the last 12 months. Fourth recently in the European Junior 5,000 metres. This summer he broke no less a man than John Tracy's Irish Junior 5,000 metre record, a record that had stood for 40 years actually. John won't thank me for saying that. And Kevin has also run a 3:47 for 1,500 metres. He still has another year of junior after this. So the damage that guy can do is just unthinkable. He's moved into fourth place there now at the bell. He's gone through in 2:02. So it's interesting to see what he can do over the mile. He's now in second place.
Yeah, Steve Mitchell out in the front is Kristaps Voltes of Latvia. Our pacemaker has stepped away, and it's a very good advantage for Steve Mitchell at the moment. Second place, Kevin Mulcair. How brilliant he has done in the schools championships the past few years, and really is beginning to come into his own, and great to see him now in the underage international championships as the sun comes out for the first time today. Third place is James O'Hare of the Irish Milers Club. Fourth is Matty Sherling, and fifth is Michael Dowling of Rathfarnham.
I'm getting more excited as I watch Kevin Mulcair move up onto the shoulder of the leader, Steve Mitchell. Kevin is poised lovely. We know he has a good finish. We know he has incredible talent. It starts to make me think, what is the Irish junior mile record? And I think it might be around the 4:03 mark. I'm not sure. I know once upon a time it was held by the great Ray Flynn. And now Kevin is poised on the shoulder of a man much older than him. And now he's about to go.
And he goes on the bell. It's a good lead for Kevin Mulcair here as he overtakes Steve Mitchell. Michael Dowling of Rathfarnham moving up. James O'Hare, the Irish Milers Club, is still up there in the top three at the moment and looking to move up into second place. So Kevin Mulcair absolutely flying at the moment with 300 metres to go. And this would be a very, very good coup for him if he could win this IMC BMC mile. He's looking very strong. He's looking very solid and very fluid with 200 to go. And he's just extending the lead at the moment. James O'Hare behind him in second place, and it looks like the Rathfarnham boy Michael Dowling has now shot up into third place. But here comes the final bell, and how impressively Kevin Mulcair has done here. He's been fantastically in the last few years in the schools championships, on the track and in cross country, and they're all standing up here in the main stand of the Morton Stadium. This is a fabulous victory for Kevin Mulcair. It is a great performance, and he's going to win in 4:04, and second place going to James O'Hare, and third to Kevin Bell. But Kevin Kevin Mulcair is our winner. Unofficial 4:04.11. Kevin Mulcair, what a really good victory indeed.
Well, they say youth is wasted on the young. It certainly hasn't been wasted on this young man. 4:04 mile at the end of a very long and tough year. What a performance. He's actually brought the crowd to life. They really enjoyed it. They recognise they're looking at one of the great talents. This is a man for the future. This is a man, he may even make it to Rio. He probably won't. He's probably too young. But this is a guy on the verge of greatness.
Well, for a while it looked as if he might break Paul Robinson's junior mile record from 2010 of just a shade below 4 minutes, but that was brilliant. That was a great performance by Mulcair, 4:04, and like what a reception he's getting around the stadium here, and absolutely deservedly so. Another great victory.
Oh, that was a terrific race, and when you think the Morton Mile is still to come, this was the warm-up. This is fantastic. Kevin Mulcair has been absolutely brilliant. He's shown us how good he is, the man from Ennis in County Clare.
I did absolutely brilliantly. It was a good victory, and he's every reason to be proud of that performance, and he really has brought the crowd to life here. They've enjoyed the meeting so far. As you can see, main stand just about full here. Excellent win for Mulcair, and he's done it at the Morton Games. He's done it in the mile, not the mile, but the next most significant.
Well, it certainly did well as a warm-up act, and if the Morton Mile is half as good, half as exciting, half as competitive as that, then we're in for a cracker. And with the way the night is starting to unfold now, with Kelly Propper's fine run over 200 metres earlier, with Brian Gregan's great run over 400 metres, and now Kevin Mulcair's showing us the mighty potential that the boy from St. Flannan's in Ennis has. We're really excited at what's to come on the rest of the meet.
A fabulous crop of athletes coming up right now, who we've seen in the juniors and the under-23s. Marcus Lawler, Zach Irwin, for example, and Mulcair. And it doesn't end there, of course. We've seen them come through in the schools championships the past few years, which we've been delighted to have on television.
So Irish interest in this 800 metres will centre on Laura Crowe, who has been running so well, and she's run 2:3 this season. She has run faster.
So the women's 800 metres coming up, sponsored by a distance just about 26 miles longer. So Laura Crowe in this for Ireland, looking to pick up her season pretty much. She's had an excellent past couple of summers. We've seen her appear in the Diamond League quite a bit. Also in this for Spain is Victoria Sauleda, competed at the European Indoors for them. Rachel Aubrey, we saw at the Morton Games last year. Angela Petty, the reigning World University Champion from New Zealand. And what a fine victory it was in that B race for Andrew Steele. Abby Fitzpatrick, Rachel Francois also here. Field of 12 in this women's 800 metres. So they're underway. Bella, Great Britain, Crowe of Ireland, Dudgeon of Britain, Lynott USA, Fricker USA, Petty New Zealand, Aubrey Canada, Sauleda Spain, Wallace USA, Selma Kajan of Australia, good to see her back again, Francois of Canada, and Abby Fitzpatrick of Great Britain is the pacemaker, and she's due to pace it at 58.59, and she'll go to 500.
Angela Petty from New Zealand is the fastest in the field with a time of 1:59. Our own Laura Crowe has the second fastest time from a couple of years ago, so Laura has every right to get in there and compete with Angela. The bulk of the field have run times between 2:01, 2:02. The pacemaker is bringing them through in a true and honest pace. Let's go and see what unfolds down the straight.
And that season's best of Angela Petty was secured in winning the world title in Guangzhou in the Universiade, the World University Games, where Thomas Barr had his glory as well. And it's Angela Petty looking very good at the moment at the bell. She's our real leader, and it's Michaela Fricker behind her in second place, and in third now is Laura Crowes. Our pacemaker Abby Fitzpatrick steps up. We're expecting a lot from Angela Petty here. She's had a really fantastic season, a crowning glory of being world champion in Korea a few weeks ago, the triumph on the 10th of June, and now Laura Crowes falling back a little bit. She's fallen back into fourth place, and the main battle is on between Petty and Fricker. It's Petty who leads, wearing 63, Fricker in second place, Crowes still fighting back, trying to get up into third. She's down in fourth. It's Lauren Wallace just ahead of her at the moment, but with 150 to go, it's the World University Games, the Universiade champion, still holding her own from New Zealand, and increasing that lead now is Angela Petty, looking very good, very smooth, and Petty's lead is getting bigger and bigger. Fricker is up into second place, and Wallace now all on her own in third. What a good victory it's going to be for Angela Petty, a good margin of victory. Michaela Fricker in second place, and up in a third is Alexandra Bell of Great Britain. It's 1:59.90 unofficial, and the World University Games champion is the Morton Games champion too, inside 2 minutes. And from New Zealand, that's Angela Petty.
That's a very impressive time by Angela. Really ran it strongly from when taking over at the bell. Nobody really challenged her, and she really came home uncharged. She's a very strong runner, very smooth, and she'll be looking to the World Championships in Beijing next month, and where she can be a contender. She certainly looks like somebody who's capable of making a final.
Yeah, cracking victory in the end for Angela Petty. Did really, really well indeed.
She actually came very close to the stadium record of 1:59.69, unofficially there 1:59.90. Just marginally outside. Very good run by Angela.
Yeah, great result it was, Angela Petty, and I mean that lead increased as the race went on, and it was very similar to a few of the victories that we saw, D'Agostino's maybe in the Cork City Sports, where it just got bigger and bigger margin of victory as it went on. So Angela Petty gets the win ahead of Michaela Fricker in second place and Alexandra Bell in third. And that's marginally offside her World Championship winning time at the World University Games. That was 1:59.9 odd, 1:59.06 to win in Guangzhou. Men's 800 will be coming up shortly, but Petty, what a very, very fine victory. And David, just as she was moving on, as it continued, that lead increasing all the time.
Yeah, like I think that shows the strength and the form she's in, and obviously the confidence to take it on. But you know, she's had a great kind of couple of weeks with the win in Korea. She's maintaining that form, and that's always a challenge as an athlete. You know, you're trying to peak almost twice in a season with the World Universities, went out there, and it's probably very similar to our own Tom Barr. You know, you've got two pinnacles of the season. You have to maintain this now, and that's a challenge. So she's in the form. It's a couple of weeks out from Beijing. I'd like to know kind of what is a race plan. You know, when you win a medal like that, you run a fast time, other opportunities open up regards to get into a couple of other meets. So it's like someone once told me, you plan to dive and dive to plan, and your preparation is key, but it's very tempting to kind of get into big races as well.
So the men's 800 metres is our next race on the track. It includes the Cork City Sports winner over 800 a couple of weeks ago, Michael Rutt of the United States. Mark English was due to be in this field. He's out with sciatica tonight. He is in the starting field for the Diamond League meeting in London tomorrow. Touch and go as to whether he will be in that. But we also have Robbie Andrews from the United States. Geordie Williams from Australia ran the successful anchor leg of the Pan Relays this year. Alex Rodriguez back after 2 years of the Morton Games, but competed at this year's European Indoors for Spain. And Declan Murray making his third appearance in the 800 at the Morton Games after competing at both the European Outdoors and Indoors.
And obviously Carl Griffin, who's just coming off the back of a great 6th place finish in the under-23 800 metre final. That's his first year under-23, so he also has that again in 2 years' time. And you know, Mark was obviously in that final as well and didn't fare too well, but Mark isn't here tonight with a bit of a niggle, so he's probably better off to kind of sideline himself and get that corrected. But with Carl, you know, great young talent coming through. Under-23 is a great springboard from junior into the senior level. And I think, to be fair to Carl, like he's probably reached his objective of making that European final and having a good performance. So now it's a case of just getting out there and seeing what's in the tank, seeing what's left for the end of the season. So it's a good little lineup here for him. There's obviously Niall Toohey as well from Ferrybank going well, and Anthony Lehejo from Tala AC as well. So there's a bit of Irish mixed in there as well. So looking for good performances, some nice fast times, someone to kind of take it out over the first 400 and give it a good bit of pace.
Also Niall Toohey from Ferrybank, who's out in lane 8 alongside the pacemaker, who's from Lagan Valley, and that's Ben Mays.
So it's always good to have a pace, or a hare as we call them, or a rabbit over the first 400 of an 8. So he's looking to go through in about 50 seconds to 50.5 to bring that pace through, and hopefully they'll go with him in order to get a fast time.
So the international men's 800 metres. It's Mutakanga of Uganda, Matthews of Australia, Griffin of Ireland, Declan Murray of Ireland, Rutt of the USA, Fizorek of the USA, Andrews of the USA, Geordie Williams of Australia, Alex Rodriguez of Spain, Anthony Leggio, Niall Toohey of Ireland, and our pacemaker shooting out in front, Ben Mays. He's pacing 400 to around 50 and a half seconds. It's way out.
Yeah, so the pace is gone. He's opened up a couple of meters. Like, the guys have to go with him, you know, or it's hard to get a judge on exactly what the pace has gone through there in 200, but, you know, he has really strung it out already, and as you can see, there is a gap between the pacer and the next athlete, so they need to close that. So there's just 40 seconds there coming in, so it's already strung out, so he's going pretty quick here.
So behind our pacemaker, it's Mutakanga, who is out in front at the bell, and Rutt.
So a little bit slow there, Will, a little bit slow going through 400.
51.7. Pacemaker Ben Mays steps out, and it's Julius Mutakanga of Uganda, the London Olympian, who leads. Michael Rutt, who won the 800 of the Cork City Sports, where Mark English was down in 3rd place. Well, Rutt is in a fine place at the moment. He's not in a rut at all, really. He's in 2nd, and Declan Murray of Clonliffe is in 3rd. And now, making the move, and the outside is Michael Rutt with 200 to go, just as was expected. A fine victory in Cork a few weeks ago. He still has a lot to defend against the boys in Clonliffe colours, but it's Rutt who's out in front, and just behind him on the shoulder, Declan Murray, and even further out is Carl Griffin of UCD. Well, Rutt came good right at the end, and look at the outside. Here comes Carl Griffin. Griffin against Rutt. Can Griffin get another Irish victory? Griffin's going to do it. Griffin wins it. Rutt is in 2nd place, and Robbie Andrews of the United States is in 3rd. What a great victory. 1:47. Unofficial, great victory. How well he pounced at exactly the right time.
That's a great run by Carl Griffin. The pace actually slowed up a little bit. It got very bunched going down the back straight. Rutt took it out. Declan Murray got himself into great position around the top end, and just coming into the home straight, I actually thought Murray was going to go past him, but it was so bunched that the guys from behind in the field started coming up. Carl ran out wide, and this is what he did in the European Under-23 final as well, and came home very strong. He did the exact same here tonight and was rewarded with the win. Very, very good tactically as well, going down the back straight in the 2nd lap, got himself into good position. It's always a challenge in the 800 that you don't get boxed in, particularly on the bend with 150 metres to go. So ran very smart there and was rewarded up the home straight. Great run, and he's in the form of his life, Will, in the form of his life.
Great victory for Carl Griffin, and when Mark English finished 8th in Tallinn in the Under-23 Europeans, Griffin finished in 6th place, and he's winner here.
Carl Griffin, a fantastic run. You held off some top-class athletes there.
Yeah, you know, I'm absolutely delighted. Coming into this race, you know, I knew I was up against a top-class field, and it never went through my mind, you know, I wasn't out to win the race. I was out to run my own race, and I did that, and as it turned out, I just felt unreal over the last 200.
You had Robbie Andrews, is obviously a 1500 metre, who was pushing you through there, but do you think about names like that when you're actually in the race?
Nah, I think it's just faceless, you know. I didn't know if it was Robbie or who it was, and I felt good, and I just went past him, and just kept working up the home straight, and I just felt strong.
What was the plan then heading into the race?
Had my own splits. It was actually a bit slower than I would have liked. I wanted to go 118, 119 at 6. I think it was 120, but so I can't complain.
You're not too far off the record, which was set by Mark English, I think it was last year, but what are you looking at as you're working towards the future then? Where do you want to improve?
I mentioned before about getting consistency, and I'm starting to do that now, consistently churn out good performances at a good senior level, and that's what it's all about for me.
Carl, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So what a really impressive result for Carl Griffin as he wins in the 800 metres.
Presented by Jim Oxley, the race director of the Dublin Marathon. If you're looking to run, he'll welcome you to all his races, including the Dublin Marathon. In second place from the US today, Michaela Fricker. A cue the drum roll for our World University champion, our Morton Games champion, 1:59.89.
So victory for Angela Petty of New Zealand ahead of Michaela Fricker of the United States on her left, and Alexandra Bell of Great Britain on her right to win the women's 800 metres. What a very good result that was too. I mean, if you want to put results up, I can shoot through them, I don't mind.
One more race developed into its own cracking race. And Sherman home here at the Morton Games. The rundown in this one. Number 1.
So the women's international mile, it is the penultimate race of the night here. It goes so quickly. So in the women's international mile, a lot of Irish representation. Kerry O'Flaherty, Claire Tarpley, Ciara McGeehan is in the starting lineup. Lenny Waite of Great Britain, Heather Wilson, USA, Gemma Kersey of Great Britain also. We might have lost a couple of you for a minute or two. 9.87 for Usain Bolt to win in London in the Diamond League tonight. Very impressive victory. But in terms of hair, it's 2 races left, both in the mile. Also in this for Canada, Kendra Pomfret and Kat Marshall of New Zealand.
If there's one thing we'll associate the Morton meet with, it's the Morton Mile. Billy Morton, the founder, who was responsible for bringing the great Kip Keano to Ireland back in 1968, 1969, 1970. And out of that sprung the tradition of the Morton Miles. This is the female version of it. Last year we had a fantastic race won by Molly Huddle in 4 minutes 26 seconds. A really competitive depth type race, and I'm sure we're going to get it tonight again. We've a lot of Irish interest in this one. We'll run you through the starters.
So the women's mile, Ciara McGeehan, you'll have seen, is in the starting lineup for this. She had been a doubt, but thankfully she's managed to get over the little injury worry. And Kerry O'Flaherty in this for Ireland as well, who's one of those 12 qualifiers for the World Championships in Beijing. That'll be in the 3,000 steeplechase alongside Michelle Finn. So it's Brittany McGowan of Australia, Ciara McGeehan, Claire Tarpley, Kerry O'Flaherty, Sarah Tracy of Ireland, Gemma Kersey of Great Britain, Genevieve Lacase of Australia, Heather Wilson of USA, Kate Van Berskirk of Canada, Lenny Waite of Great Britain, Shelby Houlihan of the USA, and out in front are pacemakers 89, Kat Marshall of New Zealand, and 98 should be there. Don't think she is actually Kendra Pomfret of Canada. Having a little look around our pacemaker Marshall just to make sure that she's not too far in front.
Yeah, the group are nicely there behind her, and the group has been led by Ciara McGeehan. Ciara ran 4.8 for 1,500 metres last weekend, so 4.8 equates to probably about 4.27, 4.28 for the mile. The Irish record is held by one Sonia O'Sullivan, 4 minutes 17.25 seconds. Ciara won't break that tonight, but she will be looking to run fast. She will be looking to run considerably under 4:30, and she's well poised at the moment behind the pacemaker.
Yeah, Ciara McGinn up there very much at the fore and looking very strong and comfortable at the moment. The national 1500 metres champion and very close to World Championship qualification. It's McGinn who's leading the real race at the moment. Marshall out in front is the pacemaker. 81 there, Heather Wilson of the United States from the New Jersey, New York Track Club, and just on her outside, 88, Shelby Hullen in the USA. 4:28.71 is personal best set this year, but that was indoors. And look at 80 tucked in is Genevieve Lacaze of Australia, who competed at London 2012. So McGinn at the moment looking very smooth, very comfortable. Can she keep it up, the Irish 1500 champion?
Well, she's doing everything right so far. The girls are wasting energy going up and down the field. Ciara has put herself on the shoulder of the leader and stayed there in second place. We know she does have good finishing speed. We know she has good talent, but this is a very talented field, and they're stacking up there as we come up to halfway.
2 laps to go. There's a familiar face. Ciara McGinn is leading them out in terms of the main race, only just. It's very much as you were, not a lot of movement, to be frank, in around the front. But McGinn looking very comfortable at the moment. Lacaze there for Australia also, and McGowan of Australia too.
Yeah, McGinn leading it down the back straight with a string of Aussies and US athletes behind her. She's marginally ahead. She doesn't seem to want to relinquish the lead, so she's obviously confident about her strength, confident about her fitness, and she's going to try and win this from the front. But it's going to be very difficult because they're all right there on her shoulder.
It's McGinn who leads the way, and now Shelby Hullen in the United States just coming up on the outside, on her outside, and they're just slightly ahead at the moment of Genevieve Lacaze, who's 80 for Australia, Heather Wilson of the United States, who's 81, and just behind them, wearing 76, Brittany McGowan of Australia. So they're entering the closing straight for the second last time. Now they're about to wind up. Can McGinn put an extra bit of pace on? She's led for a lot of the race, but as they take the bell, it's going to be Shelby Hullen of the United States who'll bring them round.
So Hullen has gone slightly in front. Ciara is fighting back, and I'm delighted to see that, because if she had allowed herself to go back further, she would just get swallowed up. But she's holding her own. She's keeping Hullen wide, and now the race is unfolding down the back straight. And this will tell us who's the strongest, who's the toughest, before we find out around the bend who's the fastest.
We've got 250 metres to go, and it's Shelby Hullen on the outside, and it's Ciara McGinn on the inside, and it's firmly between these two at the moment, with Heather Wilson of the United States trying to keep in touch just behind her in third place, and Genevieve Lacaze of Australia in fourth. So between Hullen and McGinn, McGinn still chasing qualifying times for the 1500, 3000, 5000 in Beijing, but it's McGinn who's about to put the foot down, and she's done it at exactly the right time. She doesn't look as if she's going to be bested from here. There's a nice closing on the outside dramatically from Heather Wilson, but Ciara McGinn is going to win at the Morton Games. McGinn wins it. Wilson is in second place, and Hullen is in third. 4:30.65. What a great victory in the end for Ciara McGinn, and that was superb. And I think that's the season's best as well. It is.
And actually that looks as if it did not take much out of her at all. A superb controlled run. She really controlled that race from the front, and if you want a model of how to control a race without looking as if you're running away from the opposition, that was it there. Nobody could really get far enough past her. She kept them all out there wide. She kept them all out there using energy, going to and fro and not really sure what they were doing. Ciara knew what she was doing all the time. She planked herself on the shoulder of the pacemaker for the first 2 laps. She took on the responsibility of leading after that, and she really controlled that race. And what pleases me there is that it doesn't appear to have taken much out of her at all. This girl has put up with a lot over the last couple of years, with injuries and disappointments and everything, but nobody has ever doubted her talent, and she gave the Irish public a fair old look at that there tonight. Hopefully she's back. Hopefully her injury problems are behind her, so she can go on and realise the great potential that she has. You have to remember that when she was a junior, she finished second in the World Junior 1500 metre Championship, splitting all the Africans, and she is just one marvellous talent.
Yeah, fabulous result. She did marvellously, and that was an absolutely blinding victory in the end for Ciara McGeehan.
Ciara McGeehan, that was a pretty tough race.
Yeah, like the pace was for 66 for the fours, and that was what my coach was wanting me on. So I originally thought that I'd sit at the back of the pack, but I wanted a good time as well. So I headed out. So I suppose I was at the front the whole time, taking the pace. So tough enough, but I felt comfortable, and I'm feeling really good racing at the minute. So I just can't wait to get out and do more.
You're paying the price a little bit though for going out to the front?
No, to be honest, like I felt strong coming through, and I held the girls off. Like kind of coming up to the bell, you're like, sugar, you're at the front if you kick now, if you left enough for the last. And I actually came through really strong, and I'm feeling like there's so much more in me. So no, I'm just looking forward to getting out and really trying to get as much out of my body as I can.
Do you prefer being at the front?
I just love racing. Doesn't matter where you are. It matters when you cross the line, the position, not during the race.
Right, Ciara, thanks very much.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, really good result in the end for Ciara McGeehan, and that's a good lift for the season, certainly. So just to round through the last few winners, Ciara McGeehan claiming the women's mile, 4:30.65.
Boys, this is the main event for speeding, the most prestigious mile race in the land. On the track in the summer of 19...
Carl Griffin claiming the men's 800.
2 miles.
Angela Petty of New Zealand, the women's 800. Jared Dunn beating Brian Gregan to win the men's 400, and Andrew Steele of Great Britain claiming the B race in that. Kelly Proper, excellent results in the women's 200, 23:29, still close. So now, the feature event of the night, the famous Morton Mile. Will Lear winning this 3 times. He is injured at the moment, but they invited him anyway, and he has been injured for the past few weeks, so they did know that he wasn't going to be able to defend his title, but he is a great champion, he is a great winner, and it is fabulous to see him here. We heard from him at the top of the programme. So here's the field for the 2015 Morton Mile. Owen Everard, John Travers, Thomas Cotter for Ireland, Greg Kalinowski of Poland, who's Nick Willis's training partner, Julian Matthews of New Zealand, currently at Providence, New Zealand Junior 1500 and 3000 champion, and coming from a great sporting family in New Zealand as his father John, mother Susan, both squash champions. Not just any old champions, Susan Devoya, 4-time world champion, and their first crown 1985 in Dublin at Fitzwilliam. Conor Healy for Ireland is one of our pacemakers, along with Tom Marshall of Great Britain. Riley Masters of the United States, who we saw in Cork a few weeks ago, competed in the 2013 Morton Mile. Ryan Gregson from Australia, his 3rd Morton Games in a row, competed at London 2012. Mac Fleet of the USA, Pat Casey as well, and Jordan McNamara, all from the USA. Ryan Gregson, might this be his year? So all of the athletes will be announced individually. This is Jeff Risley of Australia. He'll be doing very well if he can get a big result here. And alongside, wearing 49, Mac Fleet of the USA, the NCAA champion from 2013 and 2014. 3:56.77, his lifetime best. And this is where the excitement just builds gradually as the race gets ever closer, Dick.
Oh yeah, last year we had such a wonderful race. Won 3:51 stadium record, Will Lear, and he became a folk hero that night. It was just a wonderful way to send the crowd home. The Morton Mile is just one of the great iconic miles in the world. It's famous and it's full. It always attracts, of course, the people who live in the land where miles are run, where miles are driven. The Australias, the Canadas, the New Zealands, the Americas, the Irelands, obviously. Doesn't mean a whole lot to the continentals. Interestingly, in the field tonight, there's only one metric man, the pole, and everybody else is familiar with miles and what form it means. 4 minutes. There's 2 Irish sub-4 minute milers in the field tonight. John Travers had his great breakthrough last year of 3:55. Owen Everard from Kilkenny a couple of years ago ran 3:58. And with those runs, they put themselves up there with the great Irish milers. John, I'm sure, is thinking of a possible victory tonight. Last year it was so exciting when he made his move. He hit the front and he hung on to run his 3:55. I suspect tonight he'll have higher ambitions. His form is good. He ran well in the World Student Games there recently in Beijing. He ran well in the European indoors. He's come of age now as an athlete. He's ready now to join the higher echelons, and he should feel fully entitled to get in there and mix it. Conor Healy of Clonliffe will take out the early pace. I love to see the New Zealand vest in there. Number 9, Julian Matthews, clad in all black. When I see the all black of New Zealand, I think of John Walker, I think of Rod Dixon, Dick Quacks, Peter Snell, and the power and the grace that they've always brought to the mile. Well, Julian is here tonight, and he's carrying on the tradition. His fellow countryman Hamish Carson is there, number 6, but sadly Hamish is wearing the away strip tonight. He's not wearing the all black, but we've still got a great field here tonight, Will, and I think we can get a whole host of men under 4 minutes because the conditions are good, the wind is very light, and the starter is about to call them under orders.
Yeah, John Travers in this finished 9th at the World University Games in Gwangju in Korea after the sad passing away of his father, which you will have read about. But it was a great performance, and the decision obviously was made that he would compete, and how well he did. So this the field, wearing 2, Duncan Phillips, the USA, the 5-time NCAA All-American of the University of Arkansas. Wearing 9, Julian Matthews of New Zealand, 3:57.22. Indoors, his personal best in the mile. Wearing 1, Jordan McNamara of the USA. Interesting to see what he'll be able to come up with. This is this cracking field. Sadly, no Will there due to injury. But we will have a worthy champion no matter what. We always do.
Most of the athletes are bearing numbers between 1 and 20. Number 49, Mac Fleet, there is a late addition to the field. Not sure whether he's pace or competing, but I do know that Conor Healy will be responsible for the early pace. Conor from the local club Clonliffe Harriers, the promoters of this great meeting.
One of the biggest crowds we've seen in years. And here's the climax, the Morton Mile. McNamara, Philip. Oh, there's been a collision right at the back. There's been a collision straight away. Not sure it involved any of the men we were expecting to do well.
Everard is down. He's down at the back of the field. A very bad blow for Owen. Hope he can fight his way into it.
Well, remember, he broke the 4-minute mile here 2 years ago, 3:58.93, and it is Everard who's having to recover a collision right at the back straight away, but Everard recovering well, and he's coming back into the field. Conor Healy, Tom Marshall are our 2 pacers, wearing numbers 17 and 18, so taking them out of the equation. We're being led out by Ryan Gregson of Australia at the moment, a regular visitor to these shores. Riley Masters of the USA behind him. Then in 3rd place, wearing 1, Jordan McNamara, and also just behind them, Thomas Riva of Canada, and also Jeff Risley of Australia, and they come through with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, not that fast, 58.97. Interesting guy in 3rd place, Ryan Gregson of Australia, possibly the form man of the field, 3:52 miler. Conor Healy is doing a good job, but the pack is very reluctant to take on the challenge, and that is disappointing. John Travers is really a bit too far back at this stage for a man who may be entertaining thoughts of getting into the mix.
It's Conor Healy who's stepping off the track, the first pacemaker. So Riley Masters in the yellow wearing 13, and Ryan Gregson of Australia wearing 14. stepping it up behind our current pacemaker, Tom Marshall of Great Britain. Then a bit of a gap back towards Jeff Risley of Australia and Greg Kalinowski of Poland, and a little further back behind them, Duncan Phillips of the United States. It looks to be Pat Casey of the USA as well, but they're tucked in quite well at the moment. Now we've got a lead bunch of 4 realistically behind our pacemaker with 2 laps to go.
1:58 at halfway. Pace is steady without being spectacular. Ryan Gregson in second place looks very threatening. Riley Masters in third, looking good. A little group of 5 with a slight lead over the rest. John Travers now moving up. He's in 7th place, trying to close that gap, trying to run as evenly as possible. We know John can kick, but we need him to be closer to the action than he is right now. Still Tom Marshall leads from Ryan Gregson, from Riley Masters, as they round at the steeplechase with about 500 metres to go.
There was a little bit of bumping there, but everybody survived, and it's Ryan Gregson of Australia taking it up behind our pacemaker, who steps away now, does Tom Marshall. So, as they go into the closing straight, being urged all around here, Ryan Gregson just slipping back into second place. It's Greg Kalinowski of Poland who's in the lead at the bell. Ryan Gregson of Australia in second place, and now moving up in the inside, Riley Masters of the USA up in a second, but it's Kalinowski who leads for Poland.
And as we head down the back straight, it's anybody's race. 2 Aussies, 2 Americans on the pole. And Tomas Cotter is in about 8th or 9th place, and he's running a blinder. He's probably the leading Irishman at this stage, as John Travers suffers one of those nights nobody wants to have, and John is out of contention right now.
So Kalinowski winding it up, and now look at Pat Casey in the green. Not the green of Ireland, but he's representing the USA. Casey has moved up into second place here, and did Riley Masters go a little bit too early? Jeff Risley back in 4th place, and Duncan Phillips in the grey. Watch out for him as well. There could be a really good finish coming out of him, but it's Pat Casey moving it on for the United States, and Casey having to defend it from Jeff Risley. It's Risley against Casey. Risley's going to win for Australia. Risley wins and Casey second, and Riley Masters in third. Duncan Phillips in 4th for the USA. It's 3:57.09. Oh, what a brilliant result in the end from the Australian. He did so impressively well, and Jeff Risley wins the Morton Mile.
Really good win, very strong finish. Risley was way out of it there at halfway, worked his way back up to the leaders, and boy could he run a good fast last lap. He was very good. Interesting race in that some of the early protagonists faded. Pat Casey came, looked as if he had it for a while. Then Risley came. Gregson, who had been running so well for Australia, went back. Not sure what Tomas Cotter got, but it was fast. Tomas Cotter had a brilliant run, very close to 4 minutes, I think. And that would be huge new territory for him. And this just shows you what this kind of meet can bring out of people when they stick to their task and they believe in themselves. Tomas Cotter, I think his best time up to this might have been 4:7, 4:8 for the mile. But today he came right down close to 4 minutes. And the County Louth will be pretty proud of him tonight. But Risley, a deserving winner, a smart winner, ran very well. One of the many Aussies, yet another Aussie based over in Teddington, so a good night for them. So that's 2 cracking miles to finish off the evening.
Yeah, great victory for Jeff Risley. A fabulous victory from this international athlete from Australia, about to speak to a former international rugby league player from Australia.
Jeff Risley, a decent performance. You were happy coming home in Australia, obviously.
Yeah, very happy. I've travelled from Sweden 2 days ago. I had a race and wasn't sure how the legs were going to respond, so I just wanted to sit back and watch and cover the moves, and yeah, I'm really glad I hadn't had the legs in the last 100.
Talk about that travelling when you're going from one event to another and you're only a couple of days apart.
Yeah.
You talk about the legs. How difficult is it?
Yeah, it's hard. It took me 11 hours to get here from Karlstad in Sweden. So
how did you travel?
I had a 3.5-hour drive to Gothenburg, and then I flew to Copenhagen, then I flew to Dublin, and then come here. So I didn't do anything today, just relaxed, and yeah, no, great. First time I've been here, and the promoters are just unbelievable. They're some of the most passionate people about running I've ever seen, and they were really good to welcome us here. And yeah, I'm happy to. I think the first Aussie since 2007, so that's good.
Yeah, I think you are the first non-American actually since 2007. So
really?
Good on you for an Aussie. Good stuff. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting year this year, isn't it? World Championships, and then obviously next year Rio Olympics. So it's obviously training-wise, you're using everything to work towards next year as well.
Yeah, and I ran 144 in Lignano a few weeks back, and I ran like 130k, and sort of left me a bit flat for Sweden, and I didn't quite run as well as I liked. It was really windy, and I didn't know what was going to happen today. So, the training's paying off, and I'm building towards Beijing. I think we're about a month out now, so this is my last race, and just some more training to be done.
And the conditions tonight for running a decent mile were fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was like the wind dropped, and it's perfect. The lights came on, and yeah, it was really exciting. We didn't quite get after it tonight, but that's about all I had tonight, so I'm glad I got the win.
Well, hopefully you won't be travelling next time by the way you came over here. Well done.
Yeah, no, and thanks so much for having me, guys, and hello to Mum and my girlfriend and stuff. They're watching on the live stream back in Australia now, so yeah, sweet. Thanks.
Yeah, delighted you were all watching tonight. It's been a really fantastic night of action here at the Morton Games for 2015. First time it's been live, and you know what, I thought we were taking a punt when we did the TV highlights for the first time in 2012. It was the first time it had appeared on television for 15 years, and live online this year, and well, hopefully from now on. We shall see. But David Gillick, has been a really, really cracking night, and obviously some really good Irish victors as well. Great to see Kelly Proper doing so well in winning that 200 metres. Ciara McGeehan winning the women's mile. Carl Griffin the men's 800 after a really good run of form. Fantastic sixth place for him in the European Under-23s, and Tallinn are winning the 800 metres here.
Course, yeah.
And Kelly Proper, a good time, but still needs to be a bit faster, obviously, from her point of view, to get through in the women's 200 metres, and obviously I guess the star of the night in advance. And overall, Johan Blake, great to have him here.
Of course, yeah, I think credit to the organisers. I think this is it's what we need to promote for Irish athletics. Domestically, it's an opportunity for a lot of our good up-and-coming young athletes to gain a bit of experience against some of the best in the world, and obviously having the likes of Johan Blake here, it's brilliant. It really is. It gets a crowd, it gets a bit of a buzz, and you saw tonight he was spending a lot of time out there signing autographs and just creating a bit of an atmosphere. To run 10:12 is a very, very fast time, the fastest we've ever seen here in Ireland. So, that alone promotes the sport. Obviously, you mentioned a few names there. I thought Carl Griffin was very, very impressive over the 800. Again, another young guy in an international field. Obviously, the Morton Mile is it's historic in Irish athletics. We saw another good sub 4 minute performance there by Jeff Risley from Australia, and it's all the credibility. It's building it up. The organisers are doing a great job. We need to support this. We need to kind of keep it going over the next couple of years and help kind of raise the profile of Irish athletics.
Now, there's no more Mary Peters this year, which we've covered for the last 2 years, but it's not on at all this year for 2015. But the three meetings which survive for the moment, there's this, the Cork City Sports, and obviously there's the indoor meeting of Athlone. They've got good crowds, and they're getting good athletes. They're getting great competition.
They are, obviously, let's be honest, a budget is important, and obviously scheduling as well. If you look at this, what's currently on the same time as the Morton meet is on, you've got the Diamond League in London. So there's a few maybe of our best athletes, Mark English, Tom Barr, they're getting the call to go over there. They're running well enough to get a lane in there, and sometimes as an athlete, you do look at that and you kind of say, look, it's an opportunity maybe to earn a bit of money, get good experience, race against the people you'll be racing against at the major championships. You've got to respect that, but at the same time, it's very, very important that we have domestic meets of high quality, and it's supported both by, from a club perspective, it's supported by crowds, but also Athletics Ireland and the Irish Sports Council, chip in, and hopefully we can get some big names here to Santry and just raise the profile of athletics.
Just judging from the back of the head, that might just be Roy Dooney, by the way, who's filled various important roles and still doing so. Dick, from your point of view, obviously this is the fourth year now that we've covered it, first time that it's been live. And okay, it would have been great if Thomas Barr and Mark English had both been competing. Today there is an injury issue, and obviously they want to compete tomorrow in the Diamond League in London, because, I mean, that's pounds, shilling and pence, and it's international profile. And I know some people would have been disappointed that we didn't see him here, but, you know.
Yeah, you have to say it was disappointing. Let's call it spade a spade. Thomas Barr, he lit up the meeting last year with the win on the first event of the night, and he sort of set a trend. But it is what it is, and we still had a magnificent meeting. And as I look down on the track and I see little kids running up and down, and I realise the effect this has had on them. They've been in Santry, they've watched these great athletes like Johan Blake running so fast down that track, and right now at this moment in time, forget about your Wimbledons and your Premier Leagues and all that. This little lad down there, and he just wants to run, and he wants to run fast like what he saw Johan Blake do. So it's a wonderful atmosphere. The night was good and the night was kind, which is very important. And you have to hand it to Clonliffe Harriers for having the courage to put on a meeting like this, to go out and seek the big names and bring them in. And even better then, a lot of the good Irish athletes, they respond, and we saw a host of personal bests across different events. We saw how motivated Kelly Proper was when she came down the straight. And Ciara McGean, she'll remember her victory here tonight and the way the Irish public appreciated it. And she's putting herself out there, she's putting her name out there. A wonderful night for Irish athletics.
Yeah, fabulous, fabulous night of athletics, and you can obviously watch it all back on YouTube as soon as this event is over, pretty much. Highlights will be on Setanta Ireland and an Irish TV, debuting on Setanta Ireland Tuesday night at 7:30. Good prime time slot there. An Irish TV, I think they're showing it on Thursday night at around 10:30. But it's been another really good season of athletics in Ireland, with the national championships still to come.
And a happy crowd starting to file out, going home with a buzz on them, and they'll be back here in 2 weeks' time for the national championships, the highlight meeting of the year for Irish athletics.
And we had a really bumper crowd tonight, maybe about 3,000, and they were really enthused to get all the autographs going from Johan Blake, which was a really, really good touch. So in terms of the nationals coming up in a few weeks, David, obviously there are a lot of side issues that are coming along. I mean, we've had the luxury, if you like, last year of 4 guys in the 1500 metre competing for 3 places, so obviously there was a big headline coming there. But the side issue here for a lot of athletes is still trying to get qualification. Obviously it's open for Rio for the Olympic Games, but for Beijing to try and get into the World Championships, still realistically maybe 5 athletes who could make it to join the 12 that are currently qualified.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, like, what can happen over 12 months. And even when I look at kind of the relay team, what they did regards national records, coming in at a great position last year, making the European final and putting themselves in good stead for Rio. This time around, maybe not everyone is firing on all cylinders just yet, but there still is places for grabs. Also, like you mentioned, there's a couple of people there very close to qualifying times. Kelly Proper being one, Ciara McGean coming into a bit of form. You know, there's a few others there that are sniffing around, and you've got about couple of weeks now ahead of the championship, so there is a few races out there. There is still opportunities, but you know, it does, that window of opportunity is getting shorter and shorter, and you have to just go for it now and really give it a good crack. And you know, maybe we've seen athletes before leave it to the very, very last minute to get a qualifying standard and get onto the plane, but you know, these meets are very important. Obviously right ahead, it's at the right time coming into the national championships in 2 weeks. And hopefully, please God, we can add to that number of 12 athletes already qualified, because again, Beijing is on the road to Rio. You get a good time this year, you put it in now, you can get your qualifying standard for Rio out of the way. You can really plan then ahead of Rio next year.
So we're about to have the presentations, but well, we've just seen the presentation, I believe, for the high jump. The Morton Mile presentation is to come in the next minute or so. They're just checking a few results at the end with Liam Morgan. The live results system has gone down, unfortunately, which is why we haven't had any captions for you. They have given us a couple of printouts, though. Angela Petty winning the women's 800, 1:59.89. Michaela Fricker, 2:01.35. And Alexandra Bell third, 2:01.82. With Emily Dudgeon in fourth, 2:01.97. And the women's mile, won by Ciara McGeehan, 4:30.64. Heather Wilson second, 4:31.19. And Shelby Houlihan, 4:31.79.
And that women's 800, Will, you know, that's very, very good standard. You know, the people will go abroad, you know, into Europe to try and find those races, and we have it here in Dublin. Like, running sub 2 minutes is you know, it's thereabouts world class 800 metre running. So it just shows that the standard is there. And you know, I can remember, you know, earlier in my career getting a lane in the 400, and you know, it gave me confidence to be running against good athletes like that, and gave me the belief that I can push on. And that's the opportunity for a lot of the young talent coming through from juniors to under 23s.
So now time for the presentation for the Morton Mile. Pat Casey of the United States taking second place. But our winner from Australia, it's Jeff Risley. Kirona Cajon with the final handshake and the all-important check and victory for Jeff Risley in the Morton Mile. And that all-important trophy as well. The first Australian winner of the Morton Mile since Mitch Keeley in 2007. Kip Keino, a winner in 1970. Eamon Coughlin in 1975, and Steve Ovett in 78. Steve Scott, 3 years in a row, 79, 80 and 81. Jeff Risley's winning time, 3:57.09. Pat Casey second, 3:57.36. And Riley Masters in third, 3:57.48. What a fabulous night it's been.
So 2015 Morton Games, the winner of the Morton Mile. Here's the time, a man called Jeff Risley, the first non-American winner since 2007. And in that year, the man who won it was an Aussie as well. His name was Mitch Keeley. But tonight, it was all about one man, and his name is Johan Blake, the equal second fastest runner in the world over the 100 metres, and also the second fastest in the 200. This is where it all happened. The crowd loved it. The crowd loved it all tonight. So until next time, from myself, Tolson Tollett, and the rest of the team, it's bye for now. I'm off for a run. See you next time. Bye.